with hedge funds and business, and also Jay Collins is the current lieutenant governor, so he'll be there as well. So we're going to have 3 candidates joining us today as well. In a little bit, we're going to have candidate Bobby Williams coming in studio live with us. We're going to ask him why he wasn't invited to this debate, because it's a lot of people are upset about this. Bobby Williams was not invited to this live debate tonight. So we said, why not have him in person and ask him, sit face to face and see what his opinions are, make sure he has a voice and a platform to tell the people what he's thinking while the debate's going on itself. And then later we'll have Wes Renaud, the USF College Republicans president, joining us as well. So just to get started, Conni, what are you thinking about this entire debate? I know it's going to be the first of the debates we've seen for the primary for governor. So just your overall thoughts, what's at stake tonight?
The voters are definitely interested in firsthand knowledge. They want to see how these candidates handle themselves under pressure and in front of each other, and not just the scripted niceties that go on. So I think there's been a real clamoring out there for a real debate. There was a lot of hype about the party's Sunshine Showdown, or whatever the heck it was called.
Yes.
And then the criteria was messed with, is the best way I can put it, was massaged, and everybody was excluded except one candidate. That's not a debate.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
A lot of people were upset about that. We actually covered the Sunshine Showdown in person, and we talked to multiple people who were saying, how is this fair?
That's a joke.
Why is this happening? Why was the criteria changed to only include one candidate that met the criteria?
Well, it's sort of the same thing that they tried to do, and these are the same actors who tried to do the same thing to exclude Donald Trump from the ballot in Florida in 2023. And this was part of what caused an internal shakeup in the party, because certain entities within the party want coronations, not the ability to have competition.
Yeah.
And I think the voters want competition.
As Republicans, too, for the Republican primary, Republican voters love competition. We think it breeds excellence. That's what we live on in this country, is competition. Make each other better. And a candidate was invited tonight named Byron Donalds, who is supposedly the one who is supposed to win this. The party, and a lot of people they want us to think that he's already won. And he was invited, but he is not going to be participating. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I remember 2016, and Hillary Clinton was supposed to be hands down the winner. There was no way anyone else could win. I also remember being in California the day that we recalled Governor Gray Davis, and we elected in his place Arnold Schwarzenegger. There was a field poll that came out that was basically telling people they didn't need to bother to go to the polls on Election Day. It was a done deal, and Arnold Schwarzenegger won in a landslide. It was a lie. So I don't believe anything that the mainstream media has to say, and I don't think the voters should go there or to the parties for their information, because they are, as you can see, and we've already seen through this criteria massaging, that they're not legitimate. Our own governor, DeSantis, who I like, has said if this was 2018 when he first ran, that he would not have qualified for that debate. That, to me, tells me everything I need to know.
He was not the party's favorite. He wasn't. And
he was not.
Yeah, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And we're seeing it rhyme here again with this primary. So I think the voters really do want to hear from all the candidates. So this is how we the people select our next governor of Florida.
I'm disappointed to find out tonight that Mr. Williams, who I have met and I like, was not even invited to participate. That bothers me, and it calls into question the validity of the entire transaction when you leave anybody out.
Yeah, and I mean, I do want to clarify, there were about 30 candidates who actually qualified for the ballot. But there has to be something that divides that, because you can't have 30 people all on stage at once. But when you have the top 4 or 5 candidates, I think, and especially with the fan base that Bobby has created through his campaign. We're seeing it on Facebook with we can see the live chat right now, and we got 2 people saying Bobby Williams for Florida governor. We've already gotten people talking about it. So,
and I'll tell you that locally, the same kind of put your thumb on the scale by the party is going on even here in Sarasota County.
Really?
Oh, yes. We have a school board candidate who's basically really out there, hitting the doors every day, going to all of the events. She's a threat to the establishment. And I think that's what Bobby is, a threat to the establishment. So what do? They ice you out. They try to close the doors on you. And for me, when that's happening, it was General Flynn who said to me, you take the most flack when you're over the target.
Yeah, so obviously,
that tells me he's over the
they
target.
see him as something right now
That's
if they're
right.
trying to do all this. So speaking of him, we actually do have a clip of when we were at the Sunshine Showdown. We got to talk to him, interview him, and we asked him about debates. What does he think about this before? Because at that event, there was supposed to be a debate as well, and then it got canceled. So let's play this clip, and let's see what Bobby had to say.
Good.
Well, I think you said it best. To me, it's not about a debate. I mean, I could really care less if I get a debate or not get a debate, and I just want the same opportunity. You know, everybody's voice get heard. That's what you said. That's what makes a difference. Is so long as everybody's voice is getting heard the same, you know, it's great. And I'll be honest, it's not criticism, it's the truth. You know, all these other candidates are upset that Byron won't debate. So Byron, in a nutshell, Byron is keeping them out. They're doing the same thing to me.
Yeah.
So I call them hypocrites.
Wow. So he calls his opponents hypocrites because of the same kind of feeling he's getting from Byron Donalds not debating is the same thing he's thinking the other candidates are doing to him, not allowing him to get involved.
Well,
which, you know, we can't.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, when you have a primary, you should be able to hear the top candidates, and that's why I'm glad we're going to have him in studio tonight to ask him about that exact thing.
That's
why
great.
were you not invited, and what he's feeling. So it's going to be really exciting when he comes in, just a little bit away. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because that's coming up very soon. What is the most important thing about the debate tonight in your eyes? Because debates sometimes swing things, sometimes they don't. Do you think that this has any impact on where voters go? Is there a chance for one candidate to stand out and change the tide?
Potentially, yes. I have met Mr. Renner, had some concerns about answers. I'm anxious to see Mr. Collins and Mr. Fishback. I'd like to hear more about the residency issue. That's a big deal to me. I told you earlier I'm kind of the rules girl. So yeah. I prefer to make sure that folks are strictly following the rules, and if there is a residency requirement, the documents I've seen thus far do call that into question, and that's a big deal to me. That is a big deal, because when you allow people to ignore the rules, then that becomes an accepted practice. Mm-hmm. And I think Bobby Williams said it well in your clip. Everyone should get the same amount, the same opportunity to be heard. And I definitely believe that. Yeah,
he said it right there that it's not even about a debate. It's about everyone having a voice for the voters to decide. Because that's who matters in this. And if you can't hear from everybody, how are you going to actually decide who's best? So it's really good that he said that. You just brought up a current feud going on. Jay Collins actually legally challenged Fishback's candidacy over the Florida residency law. And there's some back and forth going on right now. Fishback even came out and showed a driver's license that he's been here for a long time. And then there's other documents showing that he was in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. He claims that was another James Fishback. That it was not him. So we'll see what happens.
What I can tell you is I had a Florida driver's license before I lived here.
Oh, okay.
I had a Florida driver's license, I think in 2006 or 2007. It was a non-resident driver's license, but I did go and get a driver's license here. And then we did not move here full-time until 2014. So, I'd like to see that.
He actually fought back after Jay Collins claimed that and said that he is a plant for Byron Donalds. What do you think about that?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
I
don't understand that comment
I think
all.
that he thinks he's saying that he's in the race to try to get Donalds to win, to help him beat Fishback. But
I don't agree with that. I think Jay Collins is a serious candidate in his own right, and I think Mr. Donalds is a serious candidate in his own right as well. So it's very juvenile, almost. It's like nanny, 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 point your finger. I don't get it. I really don't understand that comment because it's not based on anything that I'm aware of.
Yeah. We will see as things unfold. I know there's actually going to be a legal case here with that situation, so we'll keep you updated
that's
as well.
It should be.
Yeah. We got comments coming in live chat here. I love Mrs. Conni Brunni.
Oh, that must be my husband. I love you too.
And then another person asked, why isn't Bobby in this debate? Which I said, and we'll say it again, he will be here to answer that in person for himself, because no one can speak for him but him. So really excited to get him in here. I do want to go over some of the key issues we're going to watch tonight.
Okay.
I believe one of the main issues is going to be AI in data centers.
Yes.
A lot of people's minds are going there, thinking some people want more development and building, especially with AI, and some of the candidates say no, not at all. What are you thinking we're going to see tonight?
I do not know. It'll be interesting to hear what they have to say. I know that I heard that in Northport, here in Sarasota County, there is now a proposed AI data center, and that's a huge concern for us in this county and basically throughout our state due to the lack of water.
We're
under an extreme water conditions to the point that you're flushing your toilet almost. It's very serious, and to me, any further development, particularly something that we know is going to take extreme amounts of water, seems irresponsible.
Yeah, and with how expensive things are right now, we're hoping that this won't also cause electric bills to go up. You know, that could happen too.
It's been proven.
Yeah, and so that's why some of the people voters are concerned about these candidates' views on AI in the first place, because you could, as governor, have a big part to play in whether we develop, whether we continue that, or whether we keep it out. So I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see.
That and big weed. We're going to talk about big weed?
Yeah, go ahead.
Big marijuana?
Yeah, it was on the ballot as an amendment last election.
That was number 3, and of course, even our local state senator, Joe Gruters, was in favor of legalizing marijuana. Personally, I am absolutely against it, 100% against it.
Yeah,
I came from California, so I know what I'm talking about.
I'm curious to see if the candidates will bring that up, or if that will be a question in the debate too. So
it's a part of this.
We'll see. Yeah.
Because we've talked about Byron Donalds.
Yeah.
And the fact is, I'm MAGA patriots, right?
Yeah.
You would think, of course, we would support Byron Donalds because Donald Trump has endorsed him, but it's really Susie Wiles. And Susie is very connected to big marijuana.
That's true.
If you start taking it all back, she convinced Trump to change the classification of marijuana from a 3 to a 1. This is a very serious stuff.
Well, I want to get your opinion on that Trump endorsement, because we've seen a lot of the primaries in different states already. Trump is really making an impact on those elections if he endorses someone. Do you think that's going to carry over in the Florida primary?
We'll see. You would think normally that it would carry weight with me, but because of what the party did, the Republican Party of Florida, with their Sunshine Showdown and not allowing other people to participate, I was turned off by that.
Yeah.
And to me, candidates who are being handpicked and anointed are probably almost disqualified in my world.
And I think a lot of voters might be thinking the same thing.
Yes.
And so it kind of could backfire
Yes.
on the RPOF for not having a debate. You know, it's going to make people question the validity of this candidate and of who they endorse.
There's another side of this.
Let's hear it.
Do you know why there's a feud between DeSantis and Susie Wiles?
No, why is that?
Susie Wiles was running DeSantis's campaign for president. He fired her.
Wow.
She mad at him. So this early endorsement of Mr. Donalds, in my opinion, was a stick in the eye to DeSantis to stay out of it. He has so far stayed out of it, but as more and more illegitimate things are being done to squash other candidates, it would not surprise me to see him step into the race. And that has happened in Sarasota County. Teresa DeWitt, running for school board, being squashed by the party. Our sheriff has stepped in. And my understanding is perhaps even the congressman is stepping into that race, which is huge.
Well, you know, speaking of people stepping into races, we have yet to see DeSantis endorse one of these candidates for Florida governor.
That's why. Because of the endorsement of Byron Donalds.
So do you think there will will he endorse anyone or not? What do you think?
I think his original statement was that he was not, that he was going to stay out. But I think the more and more these kinds of things that are exclusionary that happen, he may be put in a position where he feels it's necessary. And his endorsement for someone like me carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Because I think as a governor, he's done a terrific job. And that's one of the things that's causing me to take a hard look at Jay Collins.
Yeah, and this idea of new Florida versus old Florida and what DeSantis has done. A lot of voters do love what DeSantis did. I mean, his approval rating when he was governor is amazing. Everyone loves DeSantis. A lot of people do. But there's the candidates like Byron Donalds who want to develop a little bit more than other candidates the image of Florida, because there's even one of the things that he's running on that people don't like is HB1 visas for the college students and the things that go into that. So do you have an opinion on that, and do you think that will also affect the race?
I think all of those things are going to come into account in this race, because that has to do with immigration, which is right here on people's minds. It's very much on the tip of their tongues when they're talking. What are we doing about illegal immigration? We're in a state where we have 3 sides open to the water. We cannot stick our heads in the sand and pretend that illegal immigration is not occurring here.
Yeah.
And so we really do have to get a handle on it. And so if you have a governor who is embracing making that more open, that's a negative. For me, that's a negative.
Yeah, some people are going to look at that with a hard look before they choose their candidate.
That and AI centers, which Mr. Donalds has said he's in favor of.
Yeah, which
that's
I believe he's the only candidate in the race who has said that in the top candidates.
Yes.
I mean, Bobby Williams he says he's not for it. James Fishback's not for it. I don't believe Renner is.
And I don't think Collins is.
And I don't think Collins is. So
I think I just saw something recently. I've been watching the different candidates. I've been trying to stay up with it.
Well, it would help a lot if we could have Byron Donalds be a part of the debate so we could hear them face to face and compare and contrast them, because when you only have one, when you have one that's not debating, how are you going to compare them right away? So that's going to be interesting to see how it changes when he's not in the debate tonight, and if people are going to, again, think of what we talked about, the RPOF, not putting him in.
Why would he not participate, I wonder? Do we know? Was there a statement or anything issued? I just think that's chicken.
Yeah, I don't know.
I did this.
I mean, he was asked the question. He was asked the question, and he claimed that it's like a job interview, and you wouldn't. He's saying that he's the only one who's met the criteria that they set, and so he shouldn't have to debate anybody. And
that's ridiculous.
And it's not going to fly well with Republican voters, especially the ones that are involved with grassroots candidates who know the work that it takes to put in, and then when you don't even have a chance to compare them, it's not going to go well. So
he's acting like he's already been crowned.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, so we'll see. But we actually do have a clip of Jay Collins talking about the debate itself and what it is with Byron Donalds not debating.
Okay.
So let's take a look at that and see what he's thinking. What are your thoughts on there being no debate like there originally was supposed to be, and your opponent Byron Donalds not wanting to supposedly do it?
Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated by that. I think I made my thoughts very clear. We owe the people a debate for all candidates on the stage. Look, if you're that far ahead, man, you got nothing to be afraid of. Get up there. What we're going to do, walk around with a chicken suit on here and say we don't want to debate? Get up, show up, do the work, let the people see what they need to see.
All right, so we are back, and we have a special guest joining us just in time to talk about that. Welcome in to our studio and live broadcast. Special guest, everyone is talking about him right now. It's Bobby Williams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in person.
Thank you.
You have a microphone on your chair, if you could put it on for us. We just looked at a clip of Jay Collins talking about Byron Donalds not being, not debating, but when we talk about not debating, we have someone that everyone's concerned about, and that's Bobby Williams not being invited to this debate tonight. So, Bobby, thanks for being here with us. We want to get your real take right now. What are you thinking? What's going through your mind not being invited to this debate tonight?
Do you want the real take?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please give us the real take.
I've already said, that Byron Donalds was a chicken. So there you go.
Well, it's not. Chicken may be the word, may not be the word. The problem is, everywhere I go, and this happened last night in Marathon, Paul Renner spoke first, and Paul Renner, he even made the comment, he was just in Miami the night before. They were all Byron Donalds fans. He walked in, gave his speech. They loved him, took his signs, and now they love Paul Renner. So what happened last night is he spoke first, then I spoke second, then I won the crowd. And I've traveled the state from front to back. I mean, it was a marathon last night, all the way up to the Panhandle, different things. Everywhere I go, I may not win them all, but I win a huge, huge, huge majority. I literally watch them walk out with signs and shirts, and you're our guy, and where, It was even last night, the lady come to me, and she's a big influential person in the Keys. And she walked up to me, and she says, we have to get you in there.
Wow.
And her words were this. First time I've heard this. I've heard different things, but she says, you are rare. You know, that was her words. And, you know, it's real, it's authentic. And that's the reason why they don't want me on these. If you notice, they'll all talk about Byron. Even Paul they'll talk about the top 4.
Yeah.
But they never talk about me.
So do you think they view you as a threat in this
100%.
race?
100%.
Absolutely.
Well, you see it. You see it on social media. You see everybody asking. They see me as a huge threat, and they don't even want to give me any attention.
Correct.
So I got to tell you, our chat is filled right now with
All
Bobby
about
Williams
you.
for governor.
Yeah.
Bobby Williams. We love Bobby Williams.
Yeah.
So that has to say something because the people are behind you, and you're not invited to one of the biggest stages right now. So have you had any communication with the PBD team?
No.
So nothing.
So this is my personal information, the way I view it. So when the Sunshine Showdown come about, obviously Fishback got invited, then he got kicked out.
Yeah.
So then Fishback made his plea to get on the main stage. So he called CBS. He had some kind of relationship with CBS. So literally he calls me and goes, hey, Bobby, will you come to a debate if we put a debate on? I said, yes, sir, I'd love to. I'm missing the mainstream media. If I could get mainstream media to pick me up, I feel like it's an overwhelming win, easy. But they won't do it. And I think they won't do it because Byron Donalds is spending $20 million in advertisings.
Yeah.
And it may be a deal, I don't know how.
Really?
But as a business owner, if you're giving me $20 million, I can understand.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's real. It's the world we live in. So anyways, he said, yeah. So I said, yeah. I said, I'd love to have mainstream media. In my conversations, I've had conversations with all these candidates. And before Fishback even ran, we sat down, we had dinner, we had many phone conversations. I'm going to get into all the details. But I told him if I could ever get mainstream media, it's the only reason why I talked to Fishback in the first place, because I knew he was already on Fox, he was that. It's before he was even a candidate. So I gave him my playbook, I told him everything I'm doing, because he's like, wow, you're doing it. Well, then he comes out the next week
Oops.
and duplicates everything I said, so everybody jumped on his bandwagon. Because if you listen to him, I'm the only one, I'm the only one, I'm the only one. But if you look at my campaign, he's not the only one. But they keep saying it, he keeps saying it. So he called me about CBS. Well, 2 days later, he comes out because Renner confirmed, and Collins was on the, maybe, maybe not. But he never mentioned me. He's like, CBS is gonna have one. It's gonna be Renner. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be Fishback. We invited Byron, and we'll see what happened. But he never mentioned me. But that phone call happened. So then this deal come up, and I seen it. Well, I know Fishback's been on this guy's podcast before. It was a couple months ago. So I knew he had that relationship. So I texted him. I'm like, well, you're no different, Byron. You won't even invite me. His answer to me, and I can show you the text, they said no.
So that was a real text. I saw a screenshot.
Yeah, that's real text. It's right here on my phone right now. I'll be glad to.
So James Fishback did want you to be a part of it. He tried to get you a part of it.
Well,
Or do you think he's just saying it?
I think he's saying that.
Okay.
I think he put this on, and he's keeping me out for a reason in his answer. And that's the thing is, so this network says they invited all the candidates.
No, they did not.
It says all, right? Is what it said. That's what people are telling me.
But
it
you
said.
weren't invited.
I was
weren't
not
given
invited.
Anything. So the people are going to be wondering. And guys, just so you know, if you're watching, I'm looking at the chat. If you have questions for Bobby Williams, we'd love to talk to him live tonight. The reason we wanted to bring you on is to give you a voice and a platform while this debate's going on because you weren't invited. So
I text Paul, and Paul says he knows nothing about it. His answer was this, and I got the text. I didn't want to, because a news crew reached out to me and said, what communication have you had? I don't mean this the wrong way. Fishback I really don't respect, but Paul I do, and there are other candidates I do. So I tried to call Paul. He didn't answer. Then I seen him last night, and he was sick, wasn't feeling good, so he got out of there. But I'm like, do you mind if I share this with the news? Because it was a private conversation between me and him. So I respect. I'm not one of them candidates going, haha, here. So I said, is it okay? And my text to him was, hey, why can't I get on there? And he's like, I think Fishback set this up. This is a Fishback deal. He's the one with the relationship. I don't know. So then
Fishback was on PBD Podcast.
Right.
He was on there. So potentially, maybe there's something bigger than we're seeing on the surface.
Well, I just think, like I said, he's done everything he can, and it's their political tactic. They don't really want a debate.
Of course not.
They want the main stage with Byron. That's all they really want. Listen to every one of them. My honest opinion, I don't think Collins is going to be there tonight. I talked to his camp today. They didn't confirm.
That's news to us.
That's new information.
So you think it's just going to be Fishback and Renner?
Yeah. I asked Renner last night. I said, Collins confirmed. And his answer to me was, Collins says, I'll debate anywhere, anyhow, anytime. So that was his answer. I said, but has he confirmed? He's like, I haven't heard nothing. So, but I think that anywhere, anytime, anyhow was with Byron, not with everybody.
Only if Byron were to do it.
A real debate means that the top 5 or 10 folks are invited.
100%.
Yeah.
Regardless.
I mean, I don't mind mentioning them. There's James Shaw. He's been in a lot of events. He's a very stern guy, but he's an awesome guy. You got Rachel Rodriguez. They're valid candidates. They don't have a huge following. They don't have that, but I've been to a few forums with them. So I've been to, not a debate, but I think what tonight is going to be a forum. So I've been to forums with these people. So I've been in a forum with Renner. I've been in a forum with Shaw, Rodriguez, and Renner. I think I've been to like 3 or 4 forums with Renner, which is 4 or 5 on the stage. They all get the same questions. You all get 15 minutes or 2 minutes to answer your question.
Right.
It happens. It's been happening regular. So the funny thing is, Fishback's canceled 4 of them and hasn't showed up because Byron wouldn't be there. So to me, people don't get it. This whole deal isn't really about, these candidates don't want to debate. They only want to debate Byron. That's what it boils down to. And now it's what tonight I think is they want to go ahead, okay, we're going to prove we're going to have a debate without Byron, but with the other only 3, which truly ain't fair to everybody else.
No, I don't consider that legitimate.
No, it's not.
It's not valid.
It's not.
Sorry.
Well, and it seems like that on both ends, to not have Byron, but also not have you.
Well,
and so
They invited Byron. He declined.
So PBD did say he had multiple conversations with Byron Donalds, and he's apparently still not a part of the debates.
So, on his defense, if an average candidate was in his shoes, I can't blame Byron.
Why?
Well, just because he thinks he's got it won. That's his mindset.
So if he thinks he has it won, is there a downside of debating then?
No, they're right.
Unless you don't think you can do well. That's in my opinion. That's what
I'm saying. So he thinks he's at the avenue he's going and the rate he's going. He thinks he has it won.
Yeah.
If he goes on stage, it's going to be bad for him.
To me, that shows weakness, and I think a lot of voters are going to be thinking the same thing.
Well,
We like competition, not coronations. That's what voters want.
I watched it this weekend at Sunshine Showdown. Y'all probably seen it.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah, it looked like they set it up for Byron. He had this video intro with Charlie Kirk. They had music and all these things, a Q&A going on. It seemed like they're setting it up to say that he's already won.
Did you notice what time I went on compared to he went on?
Yes, way before.
I went on at lunchtime.
Yeah, and at that time, not everyone was there yet.
Yeah.
Right.
People were coming for a lot of people waited till the governors at the end.
Right.
The governors candidates, but then you were.
And they were all. I was earlier. There was a big gap. Then them guys.
Why do you think they did that?
Oh, I know why they did it.
Come on.
Why?
Well, to keep me out. They're trying to silence me the best they can.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the grassroots supporters are seeing that, and they know firsthand because.
What gets me is hypocrisy, not even with the candidates, but even with the Republican club.
Yeah.
If you read all their online stuff, we're grassroots, we're grassroots, we're grassroots.
Oh, please.
I haven't seen one grassroots candidate coming from the Republican.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
You won't.
You see
They've
it.
purged all the MAGA people.
Well, you see it.
Come on.
That's what people. I mean, people are frustrated. They're aggravated. They want somebody to stand up for them and have a voice. And that's the reason why they keep me out. Because if you know my story, you know who I am. You met me. I'm a we the people person. And that's what people want. They want somebody who's going to fight for them.
And if enough, if you go back to the country's founding, if enough people say that, then anything's possible.
That's right.
And I do think that's the same thing for your case. I think if enough people see what's going on tonight and they say, we want Bobby, there is definitely, you definitely have a good chance.
Well, it is. I truly believe. I've traveled the state and I see it. Everybody loves me. I can't tell you how many we've had. Everywhere I go, man, you're our guy. You're our guy. How do we get you? The frustration to them is, how do we get you? It looks like it's an uphill struggle.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's an uphill struggle, because what they're seeing me out of debates. They're seeing the mainstream media will not talk to me. Even Saturday, I walked up to Channel 10, and I'm like, how y'all doing, guys? They're like, good. I'm like, I said, what's going on here? We're interviewing. They're like, how are you doing? I said, well, if I could get you guys to talk about me, I'd be doing good. And they looked at me dead in the face and said, we can't help you.
Well, I want to continue on that. We got to keep talking about that, but we're going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to get some things set up, and we'll be right back in just 2 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Not a
quick
problem.
break.
Great. Welcome back, everybody, to Coastal Conservative News, and we have Camden Bedinghaus. I'm Conni Brunni, and we have Bobby Williams, who is the candidate for governor. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having
During
me.
the break, I asked you just briefly, and we stopped because I said I had a question for you as a voter.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not a media person. I'm a voter. One of the issues for me that's very important has to do with emergency preparedness. We live in this state where we know these storms are going to come. I was alone in my house during Ian, and it was very scary,
100%.
especially for 2 weeks afterwards where you couldn't have any water, no electricity. It's
Yeah.
pretty daunting
Right.
by yourself. So I'm very interested in having a governor who is ready to hit the ground running with regard to emergency preparedness.
Yeah, so I said to you, not being funny, I said, obviously you don't know who I am.
Right? No, that's okay. That's why
And
we're
more
doing
people
this.
need to know who you are, so
That's
that's
right.
why
We
you're here
know
tonight.
this. This is great.
So in 2016, I started a ministry called the Freedom Tour, Food Disaster Relief. So I started on our carport feeding 5 to 10, then COVID hits, right? So even you're talking about a disaster of hurricane, but obviously COVID was a disaster.
Big.
So during COVID, I didn't mask, I didn't shut down, I didn't social distance, I didn't do nothing. Instead, we went out in the parking lot and started feeding 1,500 people a day. Logistically, we were having anywhere from 1 to 10 semis a day coming in. And you're talking cold, refrigerated, frozen product that you got to move. So you got to
get it gone.
logistically, how do I get that? I don't have a place for it, I can't store it. How do you move that and do that? So since COVID and we'll get into hurricanes, I moved over 100 million pounds of product.
That's phenomenal.
If you had to buy, that's 350 million gift in kind to the community for free.
Wow.
Out of a little church, out of a little community with no big resources, no state contracts, no state grants, no all the money the state
That's
gives
God
out.
on the move.
It's God on the move. So Hurricane Michael come through 2018, I think. We loaded up 2 24-foot travel trailers kind of early in my ministry. And 3 days after the storm, which you couldn't get in there until 3 days after the storm,
Right.
we showed up with 2 24-foot trailers full of generators, water, and food. End up partnering on the way there, talking about God. So on the way there, don't know where we're going. We're just going, you know. God said go, we're going. So on the way there, a buddy of mine calls me and goes, hey, what are you doing? I said, we're headed to Panhandle. He said, well, I got a motorcycle, ex-military, wounded military motorcycle club that have brothers up there that are struggling. I said, well, how many you got? He said, 10. I said, guess how many generators I got? 10. So we went up there, hooked up with them guys, slept on the barn floor in the middle of nowhere, no power, no nothing. It was an hour and a half. You know, you had no power. It was like a atomic bomb went off. It was the
I know.
craziest thing you ever seen. So went in there, just started going. Chainsaw team went in front of us, cutting trees out. We're going knocking on doors, going, hey, what do you need? Water, food, you need. Hook the generator up. It's so cool to watch every neighborhood we went to. The military guy, the motorcycle club guy, was the camp, base camp. They already created kind of a base camp. So we
Okay.
showed up with a generator, 3 to 4 days worth of gas. We had hundreds of gallons of gas. We took care of
Thank
that.
goodness.
Then we gave them all the food, all the water they need for a couple days. Then we went through the whole neighborhood they were in, knock on doors, you okay, praying with them.
Good.
A lot of them needed prayer
Yes.
because obviously they've been stuck. Trees, they couldn't get out of their neighborhood. So you think, like you said, you're scared.
It's frightening.
Yeah. So now, and what do? You pray to God.
I did.
Please, God, send somebody. So now you got guys knocking on the door. Hey, you need food? You're like, they're just crying. You know, it's like I can see almost tears in your eyes. They're crying, going, thank you, God. You answer the prayers. So it's just about to be obedient.
That's amazing.
So from then to now, I work with over 500 different agencies and ministries across the state. I'm on VOAD, which is Volunteer Florida across the state, so I'm working with all the EOCs. I'm actually
Oh, you're ready.
2 years ago, I went to our EOC and I said, let me take the burden off you. Won't cost you a dime. I have the network, I have that. They knew that from COVID and hurricanes.
Right.
I built that reputation. So I'm on the board or the head of EOC of our county. So when Hurricane Milton come through, we put 10.5 million pounds in our county. The county, the city officials, none of them had to touch any of it. It either come to me, and we work with another ministry called One More Child. They're out of Lakeland. They're actually statewide, but they're out of Lakeland. And they're kind of in the food ministry too. So I would oversee it all, but I logistically, they would handle the north side of the county, I handle the south side of the county. And I would tell them, here's what you're getting, So we actually, before storm, pre-storm, they'd never done this before, we had 20 semi-loads of water, 20 semi-loads of food, MREs, and 10 semi-loads of tarps pre-storm, already staged,
Ready.
ready.
That's what it takes.
Then I have 7 box trucks with lift gates. They have box trucks with lift gates, and they rented some from Ryder, so we were all prepared. So that's how we handled everything. So I've been doing it I actually put Hurricane Ian come through. I put 6.5 million pounds in Hurricane Ian.
That's
Wow.
terrific.
No state help, no nothing.
That's awesome. I watched when Helene and Milton were coming in specifically, and I know the governor had put linemen ready.
Right.
They were prepared.
Right.
So that they could go in and restore electrical service to people, which is very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Because without that, you
Yeah.
can't do sewer and you
That's
can't
right.
do water.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to have one without, you
Yeah.
can't have one without the other.
So the biggest problem with the government now, DeSantis has done a great job.
Yes.
The missing piece is once it gets dropped off at the city, county, building.
Now what?
Now what? Because all they know how to do is food drives. So what happens is you got to drive there. So all these communities that can't get out,
You can't get out.
or
So
even
now what?
or even the people that can't drive, they don't have vehicles. What are they doing? So what we do with our box trucks is, and what I do is, many churches and many people want to help. The problem with government is they're so red tape, so they won't work with just churches or anything. So I have that ability. That's what I want to do. I want to create a faith-based disaster program to where we're working with churches and faith-based. We've done that in Polk County through United Way. So United Way, through COVID and all that, we've got churches all over the county. We've got them mapped out. We know who can take what, who can take a semi, who has a forklift, who has a pallet jack, who has a box truck,
Wow.
who needs
That's
stuff
perfect.
delivered there, all that stuff. We've done it for our county. And it's easy to do it for the state.
Yes,
And
you
look-
can replicate that.
We're letting you, we wanted to have you here and sharing this stuff because tonight you're going to see candidates get the opportunity to share some of their experiences and stories. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to get that opportunity
Right.
at the
That's
same time.
huge. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, we wanted to give you a voice here as well, so thank you for sharing that. A question, I'm watching the chat come in, and a lot of people are talking about the AI data centers that we think is going to be a big topic tonight during
Yeah.
the debate. So we thought we might as well ask you before the debate.
Right.
What are you thinking about the AI data center situation? A lot of people are saying keep them out of Florida. Where is your stance on it?
Yeah, I'm keeping them out of Florida. I got 3, maybe 4 reasons. Number 1, we don't have the water.
There you go.
Number 2, we polluted the water enough. They got it somewhere, whether they're cooling the system or something, they're going to have to put chemicals in it, Freon, something to keep it cool.
Yep.
When they change it, I'm saying it's like changing your oil, you got to do something with this. And we know what these companies usually do. They pump it in our rivers, they pump it in our septic system, whatever, and it's going into the ground. That's number 3, you're destroying land. And we've destroyed enough. We've allowed developers to destroy enough. We got to put no to no. Obviously, my message is Florida's full. We destroyed enough. But the 4th one is this: it's going to put a lot of people out of jobs. They're telling us AI is the future,
Yeah.
and it's going to put the middle class out of jobs.
Yes.
And what usually comes after that is socialism, right? Because now we can't make the money we used to make because now everything's computerized and AI. What gives them a right to tell us as an economy AI is the future?
Yeah.
So that's my 4 biggest reasons why I'm against AI data centers. If you want AI data centers, put them in Wyoming, Colorado. Actually, you know what? Put them in Detroit, Michigan. They've got enough buildings there, probably more than
That are
likely.
empty.
That are empty. The
they
auto
have
industry,
water.
all these y'all destroyed it. So guess what? Let's put them in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
There's probably plenty of buildings already there. It's cold, right? You don't need all the water.
Downtown LA.
And you got downtown LA. You got Lake Michigan you can pump out of, so if you want to. So
And you got a contrast of people, the other candidates, one is very in favor of these data
Right.
centers, and some
Yeah.
of the other ones have mixed opinions.
Yeah.
So it's important to share yours. I mean, we're getting a comment here right now that says, wow, the power of rhinos. I didn't even know this was a real candidate because all I see is Fishback and Byron Donald. So
yeah.
it's important that you're here sharing your story so people get to know that you are a real candidate. Can you tell us your top priorities if you were to win this
Good
election?
question.
Yeah, no, my top priority is Florida's full. Quit developers destroying Florida. All these, I say there's 2 things I say. Florida's full and do not New York my Florida. And because we see what happens in New York and what they're doing up there. But then also these New York stock trading companies, hedge funds, they got so much money, they're coming here and buying these developments. They don't care how much money they spend because it's not their money.
Yeah.
But then they're creating a false real estate market. Then they're creating a false rentals market.
Yes.
Can't even afford to live. That's number 1. Number 2 is replace all the boards. All these candidates ain't talking about. But right now, our biggest issue is electric bills. My electric bill just come in. It's almost $900. I've never had an electric bill that big. Maybe five something during the summer.
That's a lot.
Yes. And I've done nothing different. It's a newer home. That home ain't that old, from a year ago to now. So replace all the boards. So all your utility boards. Every time your TCOs, your FPL, your Duke Energy go to get an increase. You know how many times they get told no?
Rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp.
Why is that? You know the answer. Donors, money. Look
I
at
get
these
it.
guys.
It's no different in California. I came from California. You want to talk about corruption.
So then everybody blames the insurance companies, right? They're talking about insurance reform, all this. Well, let's go back to the boards. The insurance companies got to go to this board to get it approved.
That's right.
They don't look at that. Then you got FWC boards. Mm-hmm. You see the water's being sprayed, the water's being polluted. All these boards, the governor appoints.
And that's a good point. A lot of people don't know that.
Correct.
If people aren't paying a lot of attention in politics, they don't know the governor actually appoints those positions.
Well, listen, the government's job is evil, obviously, but it's diversion. I use this as a perfect example. In your county, you got a state road, a city road, and a county road.
Yes.
And if you go to one complain, they blame the city blames the county, they all blame roads. So to me, it's a diversion. So what they do is, we got bad insurance rates, so they blame the insurance company. Well, then the insurance company blames the government regulations. Yeah. Government regulations blame somebody else. In reality, for me, I would start with the board. Because the board is saying yes, 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 these insurance companies. When do we say no? When do we have somebody that's fighting for the people? We got to get back to we the people instead of we the lobbyists and we the big corporations running our state.
That would be unique.
Yes. So one of my jobs, replace the boards, get lobbyists out of Tallahassee, get big corporations' voice out of there, make these state representatives and legislators go to the people, to these meetings to find out the needs for the city and the state, not from a lobbyist who's coming in here getting money.
How do you do that?
I don't know how that works legislating-wise, but we have to make it to push that agenda. But for me, I use Trump as a perfect example. If he wasn't in there, not that he's getting everything done, but you see he was leaning a certain direction and people get behind him. It takes a leader that's going to fight for the people.
That's fair.
Until you get a leader that's going to fight for the people, it won't change.
True.
Because what happens is, he's doing it, I'm doing it. It's always an excuse, right? So when you have somebody their standard's truth, and real, that's what we're all looking for. But you're looking for that person so I can get behind. Mm-hmm. It's the reason why you don't have a sure candidate right now from these other guys, because they don't see real, they don't see truth. They see some compromise, and they see even a little bit. And all it takes is a little, right?
Once you compromise, you're ready.
How much evil is too much evil?
How do the viewers, the voters know that you are about truth, that you are full of truth? How would they know that?
It's always, my message, Matthew 7:16, you'll know them by their fruit. So mine is, in 2001, I started a business, ran it to 7 figures, gross, and started making money. When I had an account, so I was an atheist for 32 years. Wow. I wasn't raised in church, wasn't taught about church, wasn't nothing. My family, my grandparents were a bunch of drunkards. Obviously, my mom was 13 when she got pregnant with my brother, had him at 14, pregnant with me at 16, had me at 17. Very poverty, had nothing, so one chased the American dream. So at 25, started a business, got very successful at it. 32, had an encounter with Jesus, changed my life.
Wow.
So the next 4 years, I started going to church.
Wow.
Going to church, I learned what not to do. They don't do nothing. They teach you a message, but nothing ever happens. So in 2016, I started the ministry. All my finances, all my time went into the ministry, especially hurricanes and COVID. We were doing 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. I watched my business, not because I'm not a good business guy. I took a business from nothing to 7 figures. Then I took a ministry from nothing to over 350 million. So obviously I'm doing something right. I watched my business last year do less than 285,000. I paid myself 35,000 out of my business. The ministry now, because we've grown, I paid myself 70. I think I paid myself 75,000 last year, but I didn't start paying myself to 2022. So 6 years of not paying myself nothing, 70. But then obviously my business pays a lot of I think I pay 5,000 a month out of my business to the ministry to keep the ministry sustained.
Gotcha.
But then I tithe back 20-30% of my paycheck back into the ministry. So in reality, it equals. So
it comes out.
It comes out. But my heart has been for the people. So I've been serving the people for the last 10 years. Most of these guys, they go in poor, they come out very wealthy. You can see some of these guys.
Yeah.
How do you make $150,000 a year and now you made $4 million in stock trades?
Yep.
Or, you see every one of them.
And they forget where they came from.
Exactly. So that's for me I'm running for governor now, and I walk in a lot of places, and it's almost like a superstar in reality. You really walk in there, people come in, pictures, autographs, crazy stuff. But every day I go back to the little city of Eloise where my church and ministry is at. And every day I see sometimes a girl coming out of the dumpster. We pray with her, see how to help her. Every day I'm dealing with them people. Every day I'm still giving back. I'm working.
So you're on the ground with them, and I think that's important to voters.
And even
too.
change what I'm doing now. You know, literally now I can go, you know what, I don't have time for this. I'm running governor, but I'm still on the ground, still doing that. We're still feeding people every day. Sometimes I'm driving trucks.
Well, it seems like you're a man of faith, and I do think that's a big reason why they're trying to keep you out of it.
Yes.
I just think it.
Well,
it goes,
I can't be bought. So I'm showing you
exactly.
this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and I can't be bought. I'm not willing to be bought. It's not me about money. I chased money for 10, 15 years. Well, my whole life till I was 32, really, I didn't realize about giving in the Lord. Probably about 33. So my whole life, it was about money, man. The American dream, right, is wealth. You got to. Unfortunately, that's how it's sold to us. Chasing wealth, getting wealth, and wealth's going to fix your problem. And I was taught that from my dad because we were poor.
Right.
When he had me, he was made $2.38 an hour. So he would work 7. Even though I had a dad in my house, I didn't have a dad. He didn't know how to be a dad. His way of being a dad was work and make as much money as he can to get us out of poverty. You know, but my dad till today, I got a brother. He's 3 years older than me. My dad still today has never told me or him that he loves us. Don't know how, because of where he come from. You know, but his mentality was money, 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 money. So that was instilled to me. So that didn't change till I had a heart change with Jesus. So that's the difference in me and these guys.
Yeah, and that's what the establishment hates.
I'm married to a farm boy, so I understand this mentality completely.
Well, we got a question coming here from YouTube. Someone on YouTube says, Mr. Williams, is there anything you will be paying attention to during this debate specifically?
Not really. I know what they're going to say. Same spiel. They all come out. If you listen to them, I'm the only one, I'm the only one, I'm the only one, I'm the only one. And they're not the only ones. You know what I'm saying? It's they're the only ones fighting AI data centers. I'm the only one against development. I'm the only one that's got a plan. I've got a plan for no property tax. You know, I've got a plan. I've got a plan. Its problem is, you know, that's what gets me is hypocrites. You know, they all want to debate, but then they won't allow me to debate or other candidates to debate, so it's hypocritical. Then they're saying I'm the only one, but they're not the only one because there's other people out there. So I've seen it this weekend. I don't mean this the wrong way, but a lot of people say it's almost a clown show. It literally is the way they're trying to manipulate stuff and do stuff and manufacture it. And especially for me now getting behind the scenes and see how this operates and does.
The sausage isn't very pretty, is it?
No. And it's like, how have they got away with this for so long?
This is politics.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 48 years.
But somewhere we got to have a shift and we got to have a change.
Yep.
That's why someone like you is a breath of fresh air. And that's why I think voters are anxious and clamoring after something that is different. We know it's messed up. We know it's not right.
Right.
We don't necessarily know how to get from here to here, but they're looking for folks who are different.
100%. And that's where it is. So the biggest thing we know in politics is people being bought.
Yes.
You hear it so many times, they go in with good character, but then they shift because it's about money in the world instead of God. To me, you can't buy me. There's not enough money in the world to buy me no matter what because I've already done that life. I know what it's like to be broken. I know what it's like to be whole. And my job is to teach people and show people how to be whole and live a holy life.
So,
you know?
just to, not to interrupt you, but just to answer the question a little bit, if you can't be bought, where have your donations come from? Just for people wondering where you're raising money from.
A lot of it's come from my own pocket. I finance it myself. But it's been the $5 here, the $2 here, the $20. I'm from Polk County, so I've had some businesses, and people say, here's $3,000, because the max is $3,000. I did zero. I don't know that there's any pack for me at all. I know I don't have no packs, whatever. But it's just been the 3,000 business here. You know, that's the maximum you can have. But it's just been a $50, $5. So I think and that's where I talked last night. You know, Renner, we spoke last night, Marathon. Renner spoke, and I spoke, and Renner said, help with money. He said, we've raised $10 million. So he's at $10 million. We know Byron's at $80 million.
That's outrageous.
I'm at 100,000. And I think from social media there, I'm a viable candidate with all of them. So would you rather have a viable candidate that's equal with everybody, that's running a campaign on 100,000 or 10 million? Who's going to be better with the government's money?
My money.
Exactly.
My money.
So I say this, I made fun last night. They're all going, I'm the only one, I'm the only one. So I said, I'm the only one that takes $1 and turns into $50. So every donation we get to come in for $1, we turn into a $50 donation. And we do that because I work with major retailers across the nation.
Right.
Walgreens,
Multiplier.
CVS, we get semi-loads of stuff for free. Except my cost logistics. I got to ship it from there, semi to me. That's my cost. So these other candidates and government usually takes about $5,000, $10,000 and turn it to $1.
Correct.
So that's the difference between me and them.
Yeah, and we see a lot of people saying, Byron is taking so much money from foreign, places like APAC. What are your thoughts on money coming in from those places?
It's funny because when I first started this, I was like everybody else, America first, and I was in a meeting and a guy stood up and he's like, I'm not America first, and I'm like, oh, here we go. He said, I'm America only. I'm like, that's it.
There you go.
That's where it's got to be America only. I mean, I do that as a ministry. So many people come to me and go, hey, why don't you go to Haiti? Why don't you go to Guatemala? I said, do you not know what's in your backyard?
Exactly.
We literally have third world countries in our counties, in our cities. There's people. Why would I send money and food overseas when we got people struggling here in America?
Yes, and that's what people want to hear. And that's what people need right now in America, because you see so many influences, especially with the national stuff. But when you're looking at Florida as a state and who's going to lead that state, we need to know as voters that you're going to take care of us with our taxpayer money that you're going to be handling.
Well, people don't want to hear this, but I'm against illegals, but look at Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
How many of them contracts were in-state people and how many were out-of-state people? I want to say it was either 100 million. I know it's minimum 100 million. If not, I've heard up to 200 million for porta-johns.
That's a lot of bathrooms. That's a lot of bathrooms.
Somebody's making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So how do you spend don't hold me to this. I've heard 670 million. I've heard up to $1 billion. How do you spend $670 million in a campground? Hurricane campground. How do you spend $670 million? Who's making the money?
Somebody's getting kickbacks. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I've watched it with the budget. I didn't see the budget this year. I haven't went through it, but last year the governor gave $23 million to a hurricane ministry called CORE, which is a Sean Penn ministry, part of USAID kind of deal.
Oh, great.
Yes. They come in Fort Myers. Cameras were there. They were there. Cameras gone. They left. If you look at their website, what they did in Hurricane Ian. I want to say maybe 173,000 pounds, a couple tarps, whatever. I did 6.5 for free, no government money. You get 23 million. Where's this money going? Who's the money going to? You know what I'm saying? I want to see every government contract, every Florida taxpayer money going to a Florida business.
Wow. Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And really that goes to education. There's an enormous amount of money in education.
Yeah.
And as the federal government gets ready to send more dollars back to the states, there's big money in those contracts.
Well, you want to talk about education? I thought our lottery money was supposed to pay for that.
Ha ha.
Well, you see these counties have billion-dollar budgets for the schools, so
This county
with
has
that
about 1.3 billion.
And how is your education system?
Well, they
clearly
claim to be an A. They claim to be an A-rated
but
school
clearly
district.
the parents don't agree because
No.
they're sending their
But
children to
they're
alternative options.
but they're an A-rated school because of testing grades.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not because of the performance of their kids.
And what people don't know is homeschooling kids are tested, and that counts in the school district. And most people don't know that.
But even,
So that's something we need to consider. But the contracts that come through the school board meetings every single time I go to the meetings, millions and millions and millions for programs that have not proven themselves to be worthy.
100%.
And what we're doing is just teaching kids how to take a test instead of actually teaching them life skills they need. So is there anything you plan on doing as governor?
You answered the question. We got to get life skills in school. We got to get trades in schools. You know, these kids, I get in trouble a lot of times.
Maybe get the cat box out of the bathroom?
Well, these kids are dumber than ever. I don't mean this the wrong way. I mean, you look at it's fruit, right? Where's the fruit of our society from the last years of graduating high school? Because they're forced just to take a test. All their A, B, or C, or D is all they know.
Yeah, and it's all we're taught to do, is to learn those things.
Yeah, and it's it. There's no basic life skills. There's none of that. So these kids graduate high school, and they're like, I've even had my daughter. We were on a hunting trip. So she went to public school and private school, and we were driving in the woods, and a turkey flew off. She said, Dad, turkeys fly? I'm like,
What?
it's a bird. It's got wings.
Oh, boy.
I'm just like, what are these schools teaching you?
And you know, you
And
have
that's
a point.
one of many. I mean, I got two nieces.
Tom Turkey. We're going to make the
It's
Tom
not-
Turkey
it's
with
not
our
just-
hand.
It's not just a talking point to say that, though, because we're actually the first generation that's worse off than our parents were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's shown through our education, I think.
Well,
that's
you
a
know,
good
the
point.
funny thing is, it's really the parents' fault. I say this, you know, it's like we as parents, our generation says, you know, we drank out of water hose, we ran on barefoot. But the problem is we tried to give our kids a better, and we really made them worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
We spoiled them.
Yes.
We say, I want my kids better off than me, and we think by giving them things and giving them better education. We don't. It's the hard times.
You're right.
Which makes us better people.
Yeah.
When you know how to struggle, you've been through struggles, and you know that's really what builds character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't have character no more because we've made our kids a life a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be the moral decay. That's what
Yes.
we've talked about.
Yeah. Well, that's for me. One of my jobs too is as running for governor, get God back in government and God back in schools.
Good.
We've lost our whole moral compass as a nation, as a state, and we're losing these kids. And you wonder why these kids go to college. You know, they say then all of a sudden they go a different direction, liberals, whatever, because they haven't learned nothing but testing K through 12, and now they're getting actually taught something in college, but almost a lot of times taught the wrong direction.
Yeah. And if you don't have a foundation going in, then it's
Exactly.
whatever they say is going to
Yeah.
influence you a ton. Well,
School districts are actually decreasing, not increasing.
100%.
Even though
Yeah.
our population is increasing, enrollment is actually down.
yeah.
Well, that's the reason why everybody wants school choice, and I get that. I mean, why do you want to send them to a broken school system?
Are
The
you
thing
for
is,
school choice?
It's at 50-50. Yes, because the school system's broke, but let's fix the school system where we can get rid of school choice. Let's get our school system where they need to be, how it needs to be, get God back in them, get our kids, back where it needs to be, then
Yes.
you would get away from that.
But do you think parents have that, that right to choose where they send their child?
Well, it goes back to, you should have your right to choose your child anywhere, but the point boils down to, at what point as a country are we paying for everything? You know what I'm saying? I
That's
decided to
fair.
send my kid to a private school, but I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say I need public money to do that. I made enough money and I made that choice to do that. So I know we want all these things, but at what point do I get in trouble for this because Fishback twisted my conversation the other day, but at what point do we get to socialism? You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants everything free. Everybody wants their money. My deal is less government, less taxes. If you don't want to if we don't want public education anymore, I'm good with that. Let's take that out of my tax dollars.
True.
Then you as a parent can pay where your kids go. Then maybe you come back and go, hey, we can't afford that, and we do a voucher for that. I don't know. It's a broken system. There's a lot that needs to be fixed and done. So school
I'm
choice.
trying to remember. There was a place that the private schools were actually second choice. The public schools were so good, so competitive,
Yeah.
that it raised the bar, and so the wealthy folks were sending their kids to public school, and people were having to, as a second-tier choice, sending their kids to private school.
I want to say
That's what we need to
my
get
brother-in-law
to.
lives in Gainesville, Georgia, and I want to say it's like
Maybe.
that there. It is
I
like that
can't.
there.
It was something I just saw in the last 2 weeks,
And that's my goal.
my eyeballs sort of went, wow, that's what we need.
So that's what I want to do. So I mean, you can't just strip it away from get off the bat. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see where we got. The public schools are so awesome. They're doing so good that nobody wants to go anywhere else.
Yes.
Let's really put life skills in there, get the teachers back to teaching, get discipline back in schools.
Yeah.
What it needs to be, and get schools where they need to be. Because right now, so I say there's two things that fix our government. Number one is godly character, because that gets your waste, fraud, abuse,
A
backdoor
lot of
deals
things.
out. It fixes 90% of it, right?
Yeah.
And the other 10% is just common sense. I mean, in reality.
I guess common sense isn't so common nowadays.
Well, neither is
No.
godly character.
That's true. That's true.
It's rare. It's rare.
Rare.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming more rare. We have another question coming in. They want me to ask you your stance on immigration and amnesty.
I'm against immigration. I'm against amnesty. So what happened in the conversation, one of Fishback's guys showed up at my meeting, and they filmed the whole meeting, and people got more questioned that. I said, but there are people who come here legally, and because of our corrupt government and lawyers, they go through the system, and now all of a sudden they're illegal. But they've done everything right, but you see it probably a month ago, time flies, there was a lawyer out of Orlando, $20 million in fraud. He frauded illegals out of money.
Oh, wow.
They came here illegally and they done that. So I see it all the time. I deal with immigrants and we deal with poor.
Of
so we
course.
see it. Yes, sir.
Well, I hate to interrupt you real quick,
Yep.
but it is 6 o'clock, so
Oh.
we're getting ready to start any
Sorry.
second now, any minute. We're going to keep you guys updated when they start. They may be a little delayed, but we're going to definitely switch over to the live once the debate starts. And
Okay.
just until then, we got one
Good
more.
questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. We just had the Supreme Court ruling on what was it again?
Birthright.
Birthright citizenship.
I didn't see
Oh.
all that, but the problem is back to corruption.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's so much corrupt. So my deal was, I said, if you're here illegally, and I'll go back to the conversation,
Yeah.
If you can prove me you come here legally and you've been doing everything, you've been paying taxes, let's put you on a 10-year probation period.
That's fair. That seems reasonable.
And every 6 months you check in, you tell us where you live, show us everything. It's reasonable, right? It was, so everybody took that, oh, he's for amnesty, he wants to give everybody a 10-year deal. It's not what I said. And bad thing is, the governor, I can't even do that.
No.
My answer to that was, here's what happened. I'm going to run for governor. We're going to win in 4 years. Then in 6 years, we're going to run for president. We'll run president. When I come president, we'll push for Congress to work on this to make it where it's a fair deal. Not makes it easier and simpler, but the problem is lawyers have got involved in politics.
And the NGOs.
All of it. And they're stealing
Big
money.
money.
They're doing everything. It's so
Huge money.
corrupt. And let's fix it and fix it right. You know, America is the greatest country in the nation, in my opinion. Florida's the best state in the nation. You know, I truly believe, I can understand why people want to come here. I truly do. But you got to come right. You got to do it the right way. But there are a lot of corruption and illegal lawyers that are robbing and stealing from these people.
That's terrible.
And I hear a lot of stories. Everywhere I go, I hear the stories.
Yeah.
I mean, some guys, they've been here 10, 15 years, still going through the process. They're out $80,000, $100,000 already, and they still can't get it, still working on it. So I'm like, how do we make a program where it's easier and works? Because even now, red tape government, try to go get a driver's license anymore. You got to have 3 forms of ID. And for me, like, I have a P.O. box. So it happened to me the other day. So I didn't realize it was my birthday, my driver's license went out. So it was a day after my birthday.
Don't have that.
The day after my birthday, I went to go rent a car, so I handed my driver's license.
Oh,
It's
no.
out. Oh, crap. So I went down to the driver's license place, and she's like, you got to have 3 forms of ID. And I said, well, you got my old ID right there. And so I have a P.O. box. I don't get direct mail.
Yep.
So then a passport or birth certificate. So I found my birth certificate. My passport was out of date because I ain't been on it. So it was just like, I did a lot of work just to go down there and prove. And I'm Bobby Williams for Florida governor, so you can find me, all over. Look, I mean, it ain't like I'm trying to steal
So you have all that you have to prove, but then you go to certain states in America, and to vote, you don't even need anything.
Go to California.
I mean,
It's against the law.
luckily
They
here in
can't even
Florida,
ask you.
we have that, and
Right.
we're better about that.
Well, even on that, I want to see voter fraud, treason on our country.
Yes.
20 years minimum.
Good.
Because if you don't do that, it won't change. There's no
It's
accountability.
not going to change.
That's the problem. Until you get godly character, it won't have accountability. But even on back to the legals, birthright citizenship, there's too much corruption. I mean,
Yeah.
I never thought about that. They talked about the other day that people are flying people in here for China
Correct.
and having babies and flying them that way.
and they're a citizen.
Yeah. So they're charging this family. You know what? It's a corrupt system. You give me $50,000, we'll fly your baby down here. We'll set it all up and do that. Then
That child becomes
I had no
an
idea.
American citizen instantly, and then that becomes the anchor
100%.
that brings the rest of the family
Yeah.
so they can.
One after another.
And
It's-
Minnesota and the Somali fraud is a perfect
Exactly.
example, and they all taught each other how to do it.
And the fraud's so bad. It's so deep, so bad. And that's what everybody's tired of. Honestly, that's the reason why I hate to say this, but I feel like I'm the perfect candidate because they see that in me. They see the real. They see the genuine. They see fighting corruption and fraud because that's what people are tired of. I mean, we
They
said
are.
with Biden
We are.
administration, that, and now we're here. And even with Trump coming in, we thought, hey, but we don't even see, there's been no accountability.
Yeah.
Not
Where's
yet.
the rest? You know what I'm saying? Where's people getting handcuffs? Where's...
Getting closer.
It's closer. But the funny thing is, so the Democrats can arrest a ex-president and put him in jail, put him in cuffs. But the current president, we can't put someone in cuffs, even what they did to him? I don't know. That's a good question.
Well,
Yeah. And
I would say that the folks who put up Mr. Biden should be prosecuted for
100%.
elder abuse.
Everyone, well, there's so much. I mean, accountability, and we just want to see accountability.
Yes.
We want to be able to trust our government, which
Yeah.
I know that's not 2 words that run together.
well, and something that's come up recently too is that there's an idea of old Florida and new Florida with this governor's debate,
Right.
with this governor race.
Right.
I like that.
Do you think you would be able to preserve the Florida that DeSantis has, tried to keep over his 8 years?
What has he kept?
So you don't.
Be honest with me. Be front with me. What has he kept? I mean, I know I could say something, but I'm not one of your opinions. What do you feel he's kept?
Well, I think he's done very well with law enforcement here
Okay.
ever since he got started. So
Okay.
do you
I
agree?
get that.
Do you think he's done well as a governor?
100%. No, I give him a C.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Springs,
So-
outstanding springs.
So
we're
our
protecting
springs
our
are being
springs.
destroyed.
All of them?
We're losing water. We're losing our rights to a lot of them.
That's not good.
Our water bills have increased.
Yes.
We're losing water rights. We're pretty much selling our water rights off. Your electric bills have increased dramatically.
Yes.
Your insurance has increased dramatically. Developers have absolutely destroyed Florida with housing developments and all
Is that all? Define developer.
Well, the biggest thing is housing. These Lennar homes, these national developers coming in, you know, and putting 8, 10 houses per acre, flattening, pushing every tree, and just putting them as long as they can get road and water to them. I mean, we don't have the infrastructure. We're 15 to 25 years behind infrastructure.
What about all the construction companies that have to do that? Are
Yeah,
they
but-
part of that development community?
Somewhat, but
Yes.
most of them, so your Lennars and your big things work with very few. It ain't like they go into a community and all the community guys, drywall guys work. They have their,
I know.
yeah. So everybody like, you're going to take away from the economy. How much?
But those guys, those gals and guys,
Right.
are still a part of development. They're
100%.
benefiting financially directly from overdevelopment.
Right?
Yes?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you
Okay.
taken
Oh,
any
yeah.
money
No,
from
100%.
They
developers?
try to say
No.
that they're not.
Oh, no, 100% they are.
My
They're
answer
part of
is-
the problem.
You're all part of it.
That's
I don't
right.
care what you
You're
call
taking
yourself.
money, you're doing it,
Thank you.
you know.
You're building the library, you're building the fire station, you're building the new government
That's
building.
right.
Those would not be necessary
That's right.
without the overdevelopment.
100%.
Yes?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to clarify something to the audience. We're not hosting the debate.
Yeah, we are debating. I
Having
hear
our
you.
own debate.
Well, this is debate. It is.
I mean,
This
it's
is
a-
the only governor candidate in the race.
Uh-oh.
It's an alternate debate because this is the pre-show to the debate because they didn't want to put Bobby Williams on there. He wasn't invited, so
That's
we
awful.
decided to give him a voice here on our show. But
That's
we are
awesome.
not actually holding the debate.
Yeah, this awesome network gave me the ability to have the voice that they're not giving me. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of
And
course.
those who are watching, there's a multiplier effect. So tell folks how they can help get this word to more people.
Yeah, you can share the stream right now. Help us spread this so we can get more eyes on another candidate that wasn't
That's what we
invited.
want.
You know, you
Yeah.
can share, like, and also comment and let us know what you want us to talk about because we're live right now. We can see the chats coming in, what you want to ask Bobby Williams, you know, in person right now. So share the stream, and we're going to keep going until this debate starts, and we'll go throughout it and actually do a post-debate analysis as well. So stay
I hope
tuned.
it
Don't
happens.
go anywhere. Yeah, I
Based
know.
on what
We're a
you
little
said,
late right
that's
now.
concerning.
Maybe it's the Jay Collins. Maybe he's not there yet. Or is
I
it
don't.
showing up?
We'll see. I mean, they might not want to have it with just two guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. Like I said, and Paul. I mean, he's done it before. The forum with Fishback, and I wasn't invited either. They invited everybody else but me, and I wasn't invited. So only
wrong.
Paul.
I don't understand that.
And only Paul and Fishback showed up. Paul said it was very uncomfortable. So Paul, if Jay not show up, Paul might go, hey, I ain't wasting my time with this either. And I know he was not feeling good last night either. He left early. He spoke and left. He was very sick, not feeling good. So he might not feel good either. And with Jay not showing, you know, Jay ain't coming, I ain't coming, and Bobby wasn't invited. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Do you know General Flynn?
No, I do not. I know of him, obviously. Everybody
General
does.
Flynn lives in Sarasota County.
Okay.
And I had the honor of meeting him a few times, and he was the one who told me, you take the most black when you're over the target.
Right.
So you must be over the target.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what that
yeah,
tells
exactly.
me.
All right, we're going to take a quick break real quick. We'll be back just a few minutes. Stay tuned for more content. Here we are.
What?
All right, are we back?
I don't get that.
All right, welcome back to the live coverage of the gubernatorial debate that's happening from the PBD Podcast. We actually have another guest coming in right now. So everyone please welcome College Republicans President of USF, USF College Republicans
Connie.
President.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going? Good. Here's your seat. Your mic right here. Yeah, if you could put that on your collar, that'd be great. We're just getting ready to get started here. I think that we're close to being. They're a little behind, but yeah, they haven't started yet, but we're close. It's 6:15. We're going to be going until they start. So if we have just a few minutes here, I don't know how long we'll have, but what are you looking forward to tonight to see in the debate?
I'm just glad to see there finally be a conversation. Wish you were there. I gotta say that. I don't know who exactly. I saw the text messages. I saw
Your shirt says it, I believe.
Yeah, well, perhaps. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. But yeah, no, I hope that this is a step in the right direction where we could see all 5 major candidates.
Yeah, well, we wanted to get him in the studio because they didn't want to, invite him to the debate.
Yeah, no, I'll for the record say that I don't agree with that.
Well, what are you looking for? Well, what's the path to victory tonight for any candidate that's debating?
Well, I mean, I am looking to see how James does. He's a champion debater. I mean, he had 10 years of experience with that. Started his own. I think it was called
All right, so
debate. But yeah, no, I want to see him present questions to Jay more than Paul Renner, in my opinion.
Yeah, how do you feel about Byron Donalds not being a part of it either? Because PBD said
he's a chicken.
I think we're live.
That's a theme.
Yeah, Mary Farm Girl over here.
There was, I don't know if you guys saw, but up in Lake City, Byron Donalds held an event, and James got a group of about 100 people that went up there.
I did see that.
Giant inflatable chicken. And we went over to the speaker. We're playing the chicken dance song.
All right, here we are. The debate is getting started. PBD's on here right now.
As a speaker, please make some noise for Speaker Paul Renner.
There are 3 podiums, so
Thanks.
there's 3 podiums.
All right, next we have Florida Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins.
Jay Collins.
23
So he
years.
really did go. Okay.
Let me properly introduce him, if you may. 23 years as U.S. Army Green Beret Special Forces deployed to combat multiple times. Purple Heart recipients, Bronze Star, Legion of Merit, Soldier Medal. After losing a leg due to combat injuries, he returned to active duty for another 5 years, elected to Florida State Senate in 2022, appointed Lieutenant Governor by Ron DeSantis in 2025. Please make some noise for Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins.
He's there.
Thank you.
All right, there you go.
And last but not least, we have businessman and investor James Fishback, founder of Azoria Partners, an outsider in the race, who has made a name for himself in record time, became one of the highest profile first-time candidates in recent memory, a social media sensation with a following among younger conservative voters and endorsement from major media figures. Give it up for James Fishback.
All right, Michael.
I can see it there.
James, great to have you here as well. Gentlemen, are you okay if I address you by your first name? Is that okay with you? Thank you for your permission. With that being said, let's address the elephant not in the room, Byron Donalds.
Bobby Williams.
Byron Donalds and
Bobby
I have had
Williams.
multiple conversations. I told him I'm going to be saying this, so when he sees this, he knows. And I talked about this. I invited him multiple times. I said, Byron, I suggest you be here. I agree with the governor. You ought to be on the stage debating. He says, Pat, I got $100 million I've raised. 10 times everybody combined together, I'm at 48% to 58%. If anybody gets to double digits in approval rating as far as candidates goes, I will entertain debating. But till then, I'm not showing up. So that's Byron Donalds. Anybody watching this,
Shameful.
your job is to help your candidate get to double digits, so he will be on the stage with him, and that's on you to do so. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Gentlemen, again, thank you so much for making the time to come here. There were a lot of people said, oh, he's not going to show up. Oh, this person's not going to show up. Oh, that person's not going to show up. I applaud all 3 of them for keeping their word. Please make some noise for the candidates for showing up. All right, so let's get right into it. Gentlemen, each of you will
That's
get a
why I think you
90-second opening statement. Paul, we'll
Just 'cause
start
of
off
all
with you,
food.
please.
Thank you, Patrick. Good evening. And Patrick, thank you for hosting this debate so voters have a chance to make an informed decision in this election. I want to recognize my wife who's in the audience, Adriana. We are the proud parents of a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And I got to tell you, being a parent of young children is perfect preparation for dealing with some of the politicians over in Tallahassee.
Amen.
And also, I want to thank everyone who's listening tonight, and I look forward to earning your vote. As Florida goes, so goes the nation, and we need a governor who is a battle-tested leader. At age 23, I was a young officer navigating through mine-infested waters, and I led a small boat team to destroy those mines. 20 years later, as a commander in the Navy, I led a team to stop foreign fighters from coming into Afghanistan to kill Americans. I was also tested back here at home as a state prosecutor trying habitual and violent habitual offenders to protect our communities.
Yeah, any of you
I've started
feel
my
free
own
to take
business,
notes on
been a partner in
half of
another
these, too.
business, and most recently led the Florida House as Speaker. Voters want a proven leader who can deliver results. Governor DeSantis described those 2 years that I led as unmatched. And when I led the Florida House, conservatives won every battle. But Florida has new challenges ahead, and we need a governor who can navigate them. That's why I've announced a bold contract with Florida, an aggressive conservative agenda in the first 100 days. As your governor, I will make Florida affordable. I will keep it safe. I will protect our environment and keep our state free. If you want to strengthen the state of Florida, the free state of Florida, you need the proven leader who helped build it. So tonight, I ask for your vote to lead this wonderful state as your next governor.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. Jay Collins.
Well, good evening, and of course, I want to say thank you to Layla and my son Gabe. Great to see you here. Love you guys. And thank you, Patrick, for hosting us. It's incredibly kind of you to open up your channel like this. It means the world. Guys, this race is about leadership.
After the
It's about
Sunshine
leadership under
Showdown.
pressure. It's about the future of the great free state of Florida. We have been blessed to have Governor Ron DeSantis as our governor for quite some time now. In that time, he has stood boldly with strong, bold, conservative leadership. This simply...
My mom worked 2 jobs in Brooklyn,
Already got ass.
and we still lived paycheck to paycheck. Florida is where I built some
Oh, of course it's not
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
No way.
He did make an appearance.
That is crazy.
That's his
why I
podcast?
No way.
Over top of Jay
Do some
Collins?
shows.
Over the top. That is just
More
rude.
Might as well
Byron
be.
Dines.
That is
Together,
rude.
we'll keep Florida the place.
Are you serious?
That's embarrassing.
The left,
That's hilarious.
what do they want to see? They want to see the
That's
free state of
That's
Florida.
$90 million
Crazy.
to do a
They
campaign.
want to see it break down
Cut a
and
guy
be
off.
soft on crime, soft on DEI, and go back to where we
crazy.
came. That simply cannot happen. You've heard my story. Yes, I was honored to be a Green Beret for many years. It's something I'm incredibly proud of. Brave men who I served
You can't
beside.
make that
who
up.
look up
You
to
can't make
this
this
day.
stuff up.
I can't believe
Yes,
that.
I got shot. Yes, I lost a leg, and yes, I
cannot
didn't
make this stuff
qualify. But the greatest part of all of that is that I kept getting up, fighting, and serving the great state of Florida, the United States of America, because that is what grit, that is what leadership is, and that is what makes this nation what it is. Friends, I cannot be intimidated. I will not be broken. And under my watch, as the next governor of the great state of Florida, the brightest days won't be behind us. They'll be ahead of us. Because this state and this nation are worth fighting for every single day.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And folks, if you're watching this, if you're following the debate and you're putting commentary, our team will be watching as well. Follow the hashtag VTDebate on Twitter. Again, VTDebate on Twitter. James Fishback, please.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for hosting this. Thank you to my wife, Valeria, for being here.
No, V.
Jay, thank you for being here. Thank you for your 23 years of service to the United States Army. Thank you, Paul, for being here and your 20 years of service to the United States Navy. To the viewers at home, thank you for tuning in to tonight's important debate. Let me start by getting one thing off my chest. If Ron DeSantis could run for a 3rd term as governor, I would not be in this race because Ron DeSantis is the greatest governor in Florida history. When teachers went woke, he fired them. When Soros prosecutors went soft, he removed them. And when Anthony Fauci and Joe Biden tried to shut us down, mask us up, what did Ron DeSantis do? He stood and fought for our freedoms. As the 8 years close on this incredible man's legacy, there are a new set of challenges on the horizon. Experimental data centers, sky-high property tax and property insurance, and most importantly, the education and future of the next generation. I am in this race to do two things: to preserve Governor DeSantis' extraordinary legacy and to fight to make our state more affordable. This July 4th will be a special one because 250 years ago, brave men stood up and said enough was enough. Let's honor them. Let's write the next great chapter of American history right here in Florida.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you for that. If each of you can take 60 seconds and share with the audience, with the voter here, what the top 3 issues are for you in the order from third to first, which the top 3 most important issues are to you. Jay, I'll come to you first.
Look, as I've traveled around the state, I have been from big city to small town,
Hopefully
and
we'll
the
get
number
to hear
one
him.
thing that comes to our ears
Not
is
see
affordability.
Byron again.
It's about the economy. Number 2 is about safety and security. And the last thing is education, because the simple fact is this: what we teach our children today is the reality of our state and our nation tomorrow. We can't afford to fail on those 3 things.
I like notes. What's wrong with notes?
Those were your 3?
Look at him. Look
Okay,
at him.
beautiful.
down there.
He's always looking.
Well, I would also echo affordability. If I go and speak to a pastor's breakfast, they want to talk about affordability. A homeschool mom's affordability everywhere you go. And we have become a victim of our own success with prices going up, with everybody moving into the state. That's number 1. I would also say we have to fight public corruption and enforce public safety. We see what's happening in blue states across the country, and it's unacceptable. We have been an oasis of safety when it comes to our public safety here in the state of Florida. And finally is preserving our constitutional rights and freedom. We are the free state of Florida. We need to not only protect it, but also strengthen it.
Okay, James, how about yourself?
The 3 issues for me that are most important are this. Number 1, Ron DeSantis gave us a 50-year low in crime, and it wasn't by accident. Crime's down, prosecutions are up, because Ron DeSantis did the radical thing that CNN and MSDNC won't talk about, is we're going to back the blue every step of the way. That's the first thing. Number 2, we have a real problem with these so-called experimental data centers. I'm sorry, we are not going to build a 2 million square foot facility in our neighborhood that Mark Zuckerberg is going to use to become a trillionaire. The same exact experimental data center that will drive up your electric bills, jeopardize our water supply, and is so loud and noisy that you will hear it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I want to be clear. I am not going to regulate data centers. I am not going to reform data centers. As governor, I will reject and remove every experimental data center in our state.
Okay, and we're going to address that as well with data
Well,
centers.
that was just 2.
Go for it.
Here's the last one. The last one, you don't need a history book. You don't need a time machine. The last one is happening right now. There is a movement in our country that calls themselves democratic socialists, but let's call them what they really are. They are communists. The mayor of New York is telling people who are sweating during the worst heat wave, telling kids and our senior citizens that they dare not touch the thermostat. We will never forget what communism really is. Our neighbors in Cuba know that, and we must fight the wickedness of communism, no matter what the Democrats call it today.
And for the audience, if you're watching, the temperature here are 68 degrees. That's where we have the AC, just to make sure we're going to be fine. So since affordability was number 1 for all of you, let's get right into affordability. And we're going to have some fun here as well. We're going to have some items that are going to come up. We're going to play a game to see who knows more about affordability than the other. It'll be a little bit entertaining, and then we'll address some important issues. But let's start off with affordability. And James, I'll come to you first here. Let's talk about homeowners insurance, which is a big issue. Between 2020 and 2024, more than 12 insurance companies cut back coverage in Florida or left completely, including State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, and Progressive. Now Florida has the highest property insurance rates in America. As governor, what specific immediate steps will you take to lower insurance rates and make housing affordable again?
Patrick, it's a great question. and it's one that we have to fight with a very simple idea called capitalism. If you're the only Dairy Queen in the middle of a desert, you can charge whatever you want for soft serve. What we have to do is bring in a Baskin Robbins, bring in a Carvel, bring in a Cold Stone. You might even bring in a McDonald's, Jay, if the ice cream machine were working that day. What does that competition do? It brings down prices. The fact that 12 insurance companies have cut or left the state entirely is exactly why insurance rates have gone up. As a business guy, I'm going to call those CEOs myself and ask them, what is it going to take for you to come back to our state? How can we reform these laws? But here's the thing. Insurance doesn't just come down to price. It also comes down to coverage. For the Florida families who went through Michael in 2018, Irma in 2017, or Wilma in 2005, know this: when a hurricane hits, you will not have to hunt down and recruit a lawyer to get paid from your insurance company. I will stand up to insurance greed in our state.
Paul, how about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I have some unique receipts on this issue, because as soon as I became speaker, we went into special session to take two special interests, the billboard lawyers who are driving up rates as a litigation hellhole in Florida, as well as the insurers, and we said, let's focus on the consumers. And by doing that, we saw auto rates go up 30% before I was speaker. And since then, auto rates are going down in one state in America. That's this state. Now, homeowners insurance is a little bit more.
Why spread your money across multiple prediction markets when you don't have to? Access the 3 major U.S. prediction markets on one platform at Interactive Brokers. Keep your capital in one place and move fast when probabilities shift. Participate in the future as it happens.
What's called the rapid cash buildup, which was done at a time when our catastrophic fund was broke. Suspend that for a while, and also allow that CAT fund to come down and handle smaller storms than what they're handling right now. All three of those and some other reforms we can make will lower the premiums by up to 20%, and we'll do that in the first 100 days as part of my contract with Florida.
Fantastic. Make some noise. Thank you, Paul. Jay, how about yourself?
All right, thanks, Patrick. Look, you've heard similar answers here, and it's very simple. Under Governor Ron DeSantis, we have fixed this problem, and we continue to work towards it. Look, at one point, we were down to one insurance company. It was very, very tough. Many of us worked day and night trying to figure this out, move it forward, and bring more insurance companies in here. Yes, we spoke to CEOs. Yes, we spoke to economists. And yes, we pushed everybody. The number one thing that drove that was rolling back tort reform. Guys, what we did with tort made a huge difference. The number one thing you can't do is fall back. We cannot cede ground to the trial bar. It can never happen on that. Not now, not ever. The rates will skyrocket. We have to make sure that we look at things like permitting and impact fees. Right now, those are things that we can actually solve on the ground. The cost of permitting is built back into the cost that goes back to the person. It's not just the fee, it's the carrying cost, and it's magnified because it drives up our insurance. But it's incredibly dangerous when coupled with that FEMA 50% rule, where homes are being lost and homes are being torn down. And the last thing is this: we understand that we have hurricanes. We understand that there are problems in this state, and that's why we have been leading the nation on property tax reform. And in our administration, we have done that. The language in front of us will bring back property tax relief to our people. We have to make sure we put money in people's pockets. We continue to fight to drive those costs down. And yes, we're going to hold insurance companies liable. We're going to hold attorneys responsible. And we're going to make sure we prioritize the welfare of our people over everybody else.
Jay, question for you in regards to what we can learn from California, because a lot of insurance companies also left the state of California. Florida and California, this is one thing we have in common, both states. What do you do, because insurance companies have to also make a profit. Mm-hmm. How do you make it profitable for them to come into the state, at the same time keeping it affordable for families?
Well, I'll tell you, Patrick, look, we love the free market, right? I'm certainly not allergic to money, nor should anybody here on this stage or in this audience be. Yeah. You got to really take hold of the crime and the fraud that's going on in the community. We actually have very strong laws. We've worked diligently, but you've got to go take care of that. Right now, roofing fraud, window fraud, windshield fraud on cars, those things are driving rates up, and that cost gets passed on back to the people. We got to make sure we take care of that. And ultimately, when you do that, That's going to make the cost go down. Their profits will be there, and ultimately, it's going to make sure people have more money in their pockets long term. That's just one of many things.
I think.
Please go ahead, James.
Well, I think Jay is exactly right, that there is a fraud problem in this state. That when someone cheats their insurance company, especially illegal aliens in our state, when they cheat their insurance company after a storm, the insurance company does not pay that fraudulent claim. They pay it, and then they charge the rest of us. And so it's not a coincidence, Patrick, that we have the highest insurance rates in the nation while also having the highest fraud rates in the nation. That's why my running mate, Florida's Lex Lieutenant Governor, is a cop who has gone after white-collar crime right here in Florida. We are going to throw the book at anyone and everyone, especially illegal aliens who commit insurance fraud, prosecute them, invite the insurance companies back in, they'll make a good profit, and we can bring down the premiums and save money for Floridians.
Paul, do you have any other angle yourself? Any unique angle yourself?
I didn't hear you, Patrick.
Is there any unique angle you have yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I have the receipts because the reforms we did were as soon as I became Speaker of the House to get rid of those jackpot verdicts. So when a handful of lawyers get rich at your expense, that's spread across everyone who pays insurance policies. And we ended that litigation abuse when I was Speaker. Another program that we need to talk about is the My Safe Florida Home program, which we funded at hundreds of millions of dollars. It gives up to $10,000 in grants for people to harden their homes, new doors, windows, roof tie downs, et cetera. And it saves as much as $1,000 in premiums. And so these are practical steps that we can take that allow for insurers to come into the market, and that's exactly what's happening. We're seeing the benefits of that 3 years on. Now, the plaintiffs' lawyers, as soon as we passed the bill and before the governor signed it, went out and filed almost 300,000 new lawsuits under the old rules. And so it's like the big egg moving through the snake, and we have to wait for that egg to move through before we see those new rules fully take effect. So the good news is, even though we're several years on from those reforms in 2022 and the end of 2022, we're still seeing benefit to consumers.
All right. Let's go to the next story. The next story I want to get to is housing costs, rents versus wages. A new report shows a Floridian needs to make $77,500 a year to afford an average two-bedroom rent of $1,940 without overspending. As governor, how will you ease this rent and wage pressure so working families don't spend most of their paychecks just on housing? James.
It's always a question of supply and demand. Right now, it's no different than we were 10 years ago, except one major difference. Florida has 1.4 million illegal aliens in our state. The homes, the rental properties, the apartments that they are living in, the fact that Blackstone and BlackRock are buying up all this housing supply, 117,000 single-family homes are owned by private equity. Single-family homes are for Floridians, they're not for hedge funds. And so what we have to do is we have to prevent these large investors, foreign nationals, from buying up our homes, driving out Floridians who have built their life here, and that's how we can bring down costs. But I also want to touch on something as well, which is that it's not just the rent or the expenses that you pay every month, it's how much you make. How much money are you making today versus 5 or 10 years ago? We are staring down a crisis for the next generation. I met with a young man at Florida State University a couple months ago. He applied to 100 different positions at a company. And I won't name the company out of respect, but it was Amazon. And so he had a 4.0 GPA, computer science major. And Patrick, he can't get a job from Amazon because they told him, we're not hiring American citizens right now. They're just hiring H-1Bs from India, Pakistan, and China. To the 1,900 employers in Florida right now who are using H-1B foreign labor, I am warning you once and for all. Fire your foreign workers, hire back qualified Floridians, or you will face the ultimate wrath of the state of Florida. We must put our workers front of the line.
Jay, do you agree with James?
Yeah, I agree with the premise of what he's talking about. We know we have an illegal immigration issue across the United States of America. Look, every state is a border state. That's just the reality of it, and we have to take that threat serious. We've talked about it. If we have 2 million illegal aliens in the state of Florida, 4 people per house, that's 500,000 homes or apartments being taken out of circulation. Let's talk a little bit about other notes of that. The American dream is what's important. The American dream is what we're discussing. The American dream can never be broken down to just getting by and having barely enough or just eking it out. Guys, that's not the America that we fought for. That's not the American dream that I want. What I want to see is more opportunity, more jobs, more growth in those industries to raise it up, to make a difference in the families. We have to bring back the trades. Did you know the average tradesman is 58 years old? The average farmer is 58.9. When you raise that up and you get more people into the workforce, great things happen. The free market works. Where we run into problems as conservatives, as Republicans, is when we forget our principles and we over-subsidize, we play games, and ultimately it ends up causing problems down the road. If you want to bring...
There are better places to be hot. Places like that hotel pool, where you can cool off with a little dip. Go on, book that trip. It's easy. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
States now in America, and people want to live in Florida. And look, if I could, I often say I would love to build a wall at the Georgia-Alabama line and make California pay for it to keep people from coming in. Because it is a supply and demand problem. I agree with James on illegal immigrants as being a source of the problem. Part of my affordability plan, and I also agree on H-1Bs, is that we will have no H-1Bs as state employees. You will not have a state contract and be allowed to have any H-1B workers. Florida jobs for Florida workers, period, full stop. Now, I'm the only candidate, for whatever reason, in this race that has a comprehensive program to end property taxes for those who need it most. And part of that will have some replacement taxes, and part of that is to raise the taxes on what James described as out-of-state private equity, and he's right, over 100,000 homes that they've bought up, single-family homes, and turned into rentals. Now, what's wrong with that? First of all, that's hundreds of millions of dollars out of Floridians' pockets that never hits the local economy or the state economy. And secondly, there are over 100,000 homes not available for purchase, meaning you can't earn the American dream. My property tax proposal also will allow for special incentives for first-time home buyers. And I'm not talking about you've lived in New York and this is your third house, but your first one in Florida, but you're a Florida resident. You're living with mom at age 35, so I got good news for you, mom and dad. We're going to get them out of the house and make sure that they have an opportunity to buy their first home and not wait, as the stats show, until 44 years of age to buy your first home. That's why we have Zohran Mamdani, because when people feel the door is locked shut and the deadbolt set, you will listen to the Pied Pipers of the far left or the far right. But Mamdani is a creature of the far left, and he's promising the moon, and then all he ever delivered once he got elected were tax increases.
Paul, thank you for that. And I want to come back to you, Paul, since you brought up property tax. One of the challenges with property tax, which we see, we're very supportive of what the governor is doing, trying to make it easier for folks with $150,000 to $250,000. But if this leading effort that he has to eliminate property tax for 60% of primary homeowners, there's an analysis that came out recently, I don't know if you've seen it, from Tax Foundation. Warren cities will lose $4.6 billion of revenue year one, $8.4 billion year two, potentially raising sales taxes to 15.34%. This is their analysis. Do you support or oppose the homeownership tax cuts? And if you do, if you support them, how would you pay for it?
Well, look, the governor recently came out and said he's not going to campaign for it. You can say it's better than nothing, but I'm not a huge fan, and here's why. My proposal does what this proposal doesn't do. What the governor called for is truly end taxes for homeowners. So this proposal will still have school taxes, so you'll still be paying when you're 90 years old and you've paid off your home. My proposal has a $1 million assessment on all taxes, so it will address 95% of homeowners and eliminate their homestead property tax. We have help for small businesses, mom and pops, that will get a major tax cut, as well as help for renters. And we do that through a combination of savings. As conservatives, we should always save first. That means permanent DOGE in this state, not just local governments, but the state, the universities, special districts. We spend, Patrick, over $200 billion of taxpayer money. Can we not save 10 to 20 billion out of that, less than 5 or 10% of the whole, so that we don't have to have replacement taxes? But my plan does provide for replacement taxes for those 911 services, police and fire. When you call 911, you want them there in 2 minutes, not 20. And so we have up to 20 plus billion, if we need it, in replacement taxes that's much less than the benefit. And we're going to do that by taxing people who vacation here and who speculate here. And I already referenced out-of-state private equity. Tourists will pay a little bit more. Major multinational corporations will pay a little bit more in tax fairness. That is how we'll do it. And we'll also seek a way to tax people who are coming into the state in a way that's constitutional and take care of those, because I am running a Florida First campaign, which means all I care about are the men, women, and children who call Florida home, and those that are coming here to vacation or speculate here can pay as part of the bill.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Okay. James, how about yourself? What's your position with property tax here?
My position on property taxes?
Yes.
It's pretty simple. I don't support relieving your property taxes. I don't support reforming your property taxes. I support one thing and one thing only, and that is completely and totally abolishing property taxes in the state of Florida.
Completely.
Now I'm a business guy on the stage, so let me tell you how we do the math on it. It's pretty simple. In the last 5 years, property tax revenue in our state is up 76%. They're collecting, Patrick, 76% more today than they were 5 years ago. To the people watching at home, is your government doing a 76% better job? Are your roads 76% better? Your schools 76% better? Does anyone believe the DMV is 76% more efficient? No. So we got a problem. Guess what? It's called Doge. It's called audit. It's called remove the waste, fraud, and foolishness. Here are two numbers that every Floridian needs to know. There is a $20 billion increase that 76% represents. The cost, Patrick, to make sure that no one in this room and no one watching at home who calls Florida home never pays a property tax bill again, is just $18 billion. So what we have to do is we have to get local governments like Broward County, Miami-Dade County, Orange, Osceola, Hillsborough, we have to get them to live within our means. Governor DeSantis just signed the state budget into law. It is the fourth year in a row that the state budget has actually gotten smaller, while Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County waste more of your hard-earned money. Hire me as governor. I will go in there not with a scalpel, not with a rake. I'm going in there with a chainsaw, and I'm going to save billions of dollars and pass the savings on to you.
Thank you, James. Jay.
Appreciate it, Patrick. Yeah, look, this property tax bill was far short of expectations. In our administration, we talked very clearly about what we wanted to do. It's not all property tax, it's homestead property tax. Since 2019, we've seen $31 billion raised up to $61 billion in property tax. That's a significant shift. Have you seen the commensurate growth in roads, sanitation, education, law and order, fire departments? I don't think so. We know we haven't. We know that less than 30% of our property tax dollars in the state of Florida come from homesteaded property tax. The people in these cities and counties, y'all, they have a vested interest in maintaining what they have, in padding numbers, growing budgets, and growing positions. Very simply, if I can put it clearly, we don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem at the city and county level. That has to be stopped. Now, you've seen everybody here talk about Doge and FAFO as accountability. We don't have responsibility. You can't have responsibility without accountability. And the simple fact is this. When I ran JLAC, which is a little bit of a crazy opportunity in the Senate and in the House, down in the basement, I had the opportunity to shut off funding for people who had external money from the state going to them. That's cities, that's counties. And here's why. You see, they had failed their audits. They hadn't returned them for years in some instances. And the simple fact is this. When we did that, do you know what happened when we took away their money? It was very clear. They got their audits in. You know who was at the front of the line the next year? Those very same organizations. You have to hold people accountability. Without accountability, we have nothing.
Great answer. Thank you. Okay. Let's play a game here. If we can get the ladies to come up one by one, we're going to play a game called Price is Right. Okay? And here's how the game works. I will state a product in the state of Florida, okay, what the price of this product's going to be. You're going to give your number. Whoever's closest, not up or down, whatever's the closest. So if you say 505 and it's 5, you say 490, the 505 wins because it's closer by the penny. So not the typical Price is Right. I'm sure we've all watched it before. We're going to play our rules, whoever's closest to the dollar. And then we'll see who knows actually what Floridians are going through on a day-to-day basis. So if we're ready, do we have the products? Please bring the products up if the ladies are ready. Let's start off with the first one. The first one is a dozen grade A eggs. Start off with a dozen grade A eggs. You can't help them, by the way. I see the camps are here, so don't throw signs or anything. We're watching. The cameras are on you. Okay, so James, how much are the price of a dozen grade A eggs?
Well, my wife forces me to buy the organic, but I know those from a previous life. Those are about $2.50.
$2.50, James. Okay. Jay, how about yourself?
About $2.75 a dozen.
$2.75 a dozen. Paul?
I was going to say $2.52, but just to hedge, I'll say $2.45. How's that? Non-organic.
$2.45. So the average is $2.58, which the first one goes to Fishback. Okay. So Fishback got one so far. You would have said $2.52. You would have had it. Don't overthink it. You're on the right track. All right. Next one. 1 gallon of whole milk. 1 gallon of whole milk. Jay, I'll come to you first.
It's about $3 a gallon.
Okay. James?
About $4.50 a gallon.
$4.50. Paul?
$3.50.
$3.50. It's $4.22. James Fishback takes this one as well. All right, let's go to the next one.
All those trips to Publix and Live Oak that my wife sends me to.
All right, let's see the next one. 1 loaf of white bread. 1 loaf of white bread. Paul?
$2.75.
James?
About $3.20.
$3.20. Jay?
You go with $2.65.
$2.65. This one goes to Jay Collins, $2.50. There you go. Collins picked one up. Paul, we got to get on the leaders bulletin. Let's go next one. 1 gallon of regular unleaded gasoline. AAA prices as of today for Florida. Fishback.
About $4.35.
$4.35. Guys, don't answer, please. If you answer again, I'm going to ask you to leave. Please don't do that again. I'm being respectful with you. Let's enjoy their answers. Okay, James, you said $4.50. Next.
$3.85.
$3.85.
Well, I was going to say $3.85 too, so I'm going with my original answer.
Which is what?
$3.85.
Both of you guys are saying $3.85?
$3.85.
One of you guys got to say, you got to say a different number.
All right, $3.90.
$3.90. It's $3.81, which means this goes to Jay. So Jay's got 2 now. Jay, Collins, and Fishback are tied at 2. Next one. Very important to the president. This is very important to the president. A Big Mac meal.
There's
Yes.
1 million pounds of food in our economy every month.
And that multiplier is
So I'm saving
so
family
important.
members $200 or $300 a month or a week is what we're doing.
Wow.
So you talk about affordability. These guys, when I get in office, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that.
I don't know.
Their hearts are, my heart's already there. I'm already doing it. I'm already helping with affordability in every aspect of that.
You need to talk about that. We'll
I do,
talk about it
everywhere I go.
after.
You know,
We'll
it's
talk about it afterwards.
$13.99, which goes to Collins. Collins takes the lead. All right. We know who goes to McDonald's here. That's
Not
we
me.
know that for a
Not
fact.
me.
There you
You
go.
gotta hope that ice cream
me.
machine is working, brother.
All right, let's go to the next one. 1 package of Pampers diapers, 100 count.
A lot.
A lot. It's been a while,
I
Paul.
have a
I'll
6
come
and
to
a
you
4-year-old. It hasn't been that long.
What do you say,
It's
Paul?
like a pay raise when you stop having
It is.
diapers.
100 of them.
Man, it's a tough one. We order them in bulk. So I'm going to say $10.
$10. Jay,
For a count of 100?
100.
Oh, 100.
100.
Is that 100?
No, is that 100? No, we're
not
going
100.
with 100. Don't worry about this. This is just a model here.
That's just a model.
No,
Okay.
forgive me. So it's
How
100.
many are
That's
in there?
26.
26? I would say $35.
Okay. All right. Jay,
46.
46. Fishback.
I haven't had to purchase them yet, but we may have an announcement coming soon.
Really? Are you making that right now, or?
I'm making an announcement about an announcement.
Okay. That's how it works? Okay. So what's the number?
Gosh, I don't know.
You got to guess.
What'd you say, Jay?
46.
So Jay said 46. Paul said 35.
I'd say 42.
42. So it's 27, which Paul gets his first one. There you go, Paul. All right,
I've seen
next
a lot
one.
of those.
Next one. 24-pack of bottled water. 24-pack at Walgreens. 24-pack of bottled water. Jay.
All right, so we're
24-pack.
let's go with
24-pack.
about $4.25.
Okay, $4.25. Paul?
$15.
$15. James?
It's about $5.10.
$5.10. This one goes to Fishback. It's $5.49. Okay. All right, it's a tie. Paul's got one, Fishback 3. By the way, we only have 3 left. We only have 4 left, so let's see how this goes. A pound of ground beef, 70-30. James? Pound of ground beef, 70-30.
It's about $8, $9. $9.
$9. Okay. Jay?
$7.65 a pound.
$7.65. Paul?
I was going to say $7.50.
$7.50. This goes to Paul because it's $4.99. So there you go, Paul. You picked that one up.
What?
You can make a little more noise. This is good. Paul got a second one. All right, next one. This is Florida. 5-pound bag of oranges. 5-pound bag of oranges. Jay?
Let's go with about $9.75.
$9.75. Okay. Paul?
I'm going to go with $6.
$6. James?
About $8.
$8. This goes to Paul at $6.50. Paul's making a comeback. By the way, we have 2 more left. It's down to the wire. Paul made a comeback. It's 3-3-3. Okay, someone's going to win it now. Here we go. Monthly average car insurance payment.
Oof.
Paul?
Car insurance. I'm going to say monthly.
Monthly.
100. Monthly, I would say $75.
Okay. Jay?
Monthly.
Car insurance. Car insurance payment. You want to change
Can I go back?
Yes.
Because I'm paying monthly now. So I'm going to go higher.
Go for
How
it.
about $250?
$250. Okay. Jay?
It's $235.
$235. James?
I can tell you I'm paying more on the insurance than I am on the car payment. So it's, in our case, it's about $350.
$350. It's actually $181, which means this goes to Jay. Jay picked it up, so Jay's at 4 now. Last but not least, either Jay's going to win it or someone's going to tie him. Monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Florida. Monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in Florida.
$1,700.
Jay, $1,700. James.
Is it statewide?
Statewide.
Statewide. It's about $1,300.
$1,300. Paul?
I think it's higher statewide, $2,400.
$2,400. It's
Oh,
actually
$2,375.
$1,685. Jay Collins picks it up. Make some noise. All right, Jay. That's a pretty big victory right there that you had. All right, so let's transition to the next story. Byron Donalds is not here. He's watching. His team is probably watching. What message do you have for Byron Donalds, who posted their numbers, almost $100 million they've raised. On every poll, he's ahead, 48, 58%. Raised 10 times more money than everybody combined. These are the numbers that they're putting up there. He's getting endorsement from the president and many others. He's got another one today as well, I believe from the AG, if I'm not mistaken. They made sure they put it out there to the public. What message do you have for Byron Donalds for not being here right now? James, I'll come to you first.
Well, my message is pretty simple. Byron Donalds made history this past week by raising $100 million, the most ever. Our campaign made history by being the first campaign in Florida running for governor to visit all 67 counties. That's not hard to do. That's not easy to do. And I can tell you that when you're in small counties like Liberty and Dixie and Hernando, but big counties like this one where I grew up, you really appreciate the state that we have. I'm a 4th-generation Floridian, born and raised. I was born right here in Broward County Public Schools.
Yeah, they have like people waiting for you behind the doors after you get off, and they do like a video where they're all cheering after they get. Yeah, it was.
Well, for me, it was funny because
so engineered.
When I walked in, because I wanted to see the machine. I wanted to see it. People are walking out,
and we have to keep it that way.
Byron said, "I think I'm
Fantastic.
fixing
Jay, how
to
about
do
yourself?
this," and they're like, "Yeah."
Look,
they walked out. We're fixing
when I
to
talked to
leave.
Byron on this, it's very clear. We had this little thing in 1776. One person doesn't get to maintain control and say they're in charge, and this is how it's going to work. We don't do kings in the United States of America. We sure don't do them in Florida. Look, if you can't show up on the debate stage, you can't show up in the community, you can't try to sit here and fight to earn the right to lead the free state of Florida, what are you doing? If you're that far ahead, you've raised that much money, why are you so scared to get on the debate stage? I understand it's about politics, but you got to grow a spine. You got to stand up, and you got to fight for the people of Florida. Guys, it's that simple. Nothing's going to be given to you. When I got shot, blown up, and wanted to requalify as a Green Beret, they didn't give it to me. I got up, I fought for it, and I earned it. It's exactly the same thing with the governor's mansion. If you want to be the next leader, you got to stand up, fight for it, earn it. That is the free state of Florida model.
Paul?
Every voter in this audience, everyone watching, everyone in the state deserves a debate. And it's disrespectful of Byron Donalds not to come on this stage and make his case as to why he is better able to lead the state for the next 8 years. But there's a reason to make the case as to why he's better qualified than the other candidates, but there's a reason he won't, because he's not. And the other thing about Byron Donalds, Patrick, you mentioned all the money he's raised. What is so offensive to me is he's raised all this money, and yet he took advantage of a Democrat-imposed constitutional amendment to take taxpayer funding money to run his campaign. As a conservative, I was not even going to think about taking that money. He's going to get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your pocket when you can't pay your bills with all the items we just talked about. And that is not conservative. To me, it's disqualifying, and he should be ashamed of himself. But that's what's happening.
So, an open-ended question, any one of you can take it first. Why does he have such a big lead? Why do majority of Floridians count on him to be their next governor, not any one of you?
Well, I'll tell you what, with the president's endorsement, it's very clear. He came out here in March. He's had a 17-month head start to many people. Guys, why are we doing that? He's been out there for this long. What's the leader in the clubhouse? It's not Byron Donalds. It's undecided. Let's put it another way. 42% of people have had 17 months, give or take, to choose Byron Donalds. And what do? They said no. They're not picking him. We don't bequeath anybody. You don't just get it because you want it. You get it because you earn it. Why is he out there? He's been out for a long time. Yes, he's getting all the money. Yes, he has endorsements, but he doesn't have the will of the people. And we forget history. Governor Ron DeSantis wasn't polling in first place 8 years ago today. Adam Putnam was. What does history show us? Adam Putnam isn't the governor. How about 8 years before that? Rick Scott. Same exact thing. That was running against our Attorney General McCollum. And where do we find ourselves today? We find ourselves in the exact same position. You got to show up. You got to earn it, because the free state of Florida is full of Florida guy and Florida gal. And you don't bend a knee to anybody. You stand up for your rights and you vote how you choose.
James, why do you think majority of Floridians are choosing him over any one of you?
Well, I reject the premise, because you're referring to polls, the same polls that have been wrong time and time again. They were wrong about President Trump. The same exact pollsters that now say that Byron Donalds is ahead, even though you can't find somebody, if your life depended on it, who loves Byron Donalds. They're now telling you that Byron Donalds is the most popular guy in Florida. Here's the truth. When I travel to small counties all over the state, and big counties like the one that I was raised in here in Broward, when I meet with voters, they want someone who's going to do three things. Someone who's going to fight for law and order, not someone who, like Byron Donalds, fought in 2019 to let criminals steal up to $1,000 of your stuff and get away with it. We can't have that. The only place criminals should be is rotting in jail, and Byron Donalds is the wrong choice for that.
Paul, I'm gonna come to you, and I want to get your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I want to respond if I could.
Oh, I will come to you, and I'll share this if you want to go to it or not. Even if we look at Calshi right now, which a lot of folks right now are looking at Calshi more than they're looking at polls, because it's real money that people are putting up. $7.9 million, almost $8 million of volume is on Calshi, and they have Byron Donalds at 95.5%.
How much of that money is from out of state?
There you go.
And how much of that money is from? How much of that money is from a Middle Eastern country?
Okay, and how much? That's a fair question.
And if I may,
they're rigging it. They're rigging the election.
Hold on a second. Let me.
Please.
And how much of the money he's raised that you talked about is also out of state? The special interests are desperate to get rid of Ron DeSantis so they can have somebody and install someone who will do the special interest bidding, and that is Byron Donalds.
So
if you go around to the grassroots, and everybody on this stage knows this, the one thing that stands out, and it must be unlike any other election where the front runner or someone endorsed by the president, where the base, the activists, the people that pay the most attention to these elections do not want Byron Donalds. And I say to people, look, you can go onto my website at voterenner.com, but the more research you do, the more you're going to want me for your...
We're looking for people 40 plus who want to act.
But now, so I was in West Palm Beach a couple weeks ago. At, they were Trump Club. This is a Trump Club.
Oh, I'm sure. Over there.
But they all love me. But I found one. I walked up to her to shake her hand. She would not shake my hand. Just rude as all get out. She's like, you need to drop out.
That sounds like a Democrat.
She's like,
that's what I've been saying this entire process.
She said, the funny thing is, she looked at me and said, "You got an ego problem. You're in this for the money, raising money. That's all you're in it for. You're just taking." And I'm
like,
what?
Anything about you?
You don't exactly. And she's like, anybody that's running against a Trump-endorsed candidate should not run. You should drop out today.
See, that's where the left gets that comment of it's a cult mindset.
Yeah, from a person like that.
But
now I've walked in.
So the follow-up then would be for all of you is the following. It's very obvious all of you are complimentary of the governor, Governor DeSantis. Every one of you has been very complimentary of the governor. The numbers shows he went from the first time winning by 34,000 votes, but the second time he won by 1.5 million votes. He's done an amazing job. Everybody loves living here. Most people do. Republicans are very happy with him. I guess one of the things would be important to say is, what do you think is different from Byron Donalds than the current governor, Ron DeSantis? I'll come to you first, James.
Wow. Well, we're going to need another 3 hours for that.
Take 60 seconds.
Well, what is the time limit?
No, I actually want to hear your argument. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, the three biggest things right off the bat is that Byron Donalds took $5 million from Mark Zuckerberg to build data centers in every single neighborhood in this state. Ron DeSantis has been clear. Ron DeSantis has been clear that you're not going to build data centers in our neighborhoods, and as governor, I will reject and remove every single one of them. That's the number one difference between them. Number two, Ron DeSantis is a law and order governor. He's not the kind of guy who's going to let criminals steal $1,000 of your stuff and in the name of equity, get them out of jail for free. That is exactly what Byron Donalds did as a legislator in this state. And the third one, if I can be brutally honest, Byron Donalds can't serve Florida because he doesn't know what real Florida is like. If you want to fight for citrus farmers and Frostproof in Sebring and in Avon Park, you have to have grown up in these places. I remember smelling citrus growing up in West Davie. I remember what cattle ranchers had 20, 30 years ago. Byron Donalds was born and raised in New York City, and it shows, and we need a true Floridian to lead this state.
Thank you, James. Paul.
Yeah, look, Byron Donalds is all talking points all the time. He'll tell you he wants a balanced budget, but in Congress, he's never once sponsored anything to send that out to the states for ratification. For that matter, unlike me, he's never balanced a budget in his whole time in Congress. The governor is a principled conservative, and Byron Donalds, as James just said, is taking tons of money from big tech that want to fill up our state with hyperscale data centers, and that will not happen on my watch. When I'm governor, we'll come in the special session for affordability and stop the construction of those data centers. This is a clear issue that is distinctly against the interest of a Florida First agenda that is distinctly going to hurt our rural communities and all of our communities in driving up electric rates, in damaging our aquifer, in damaging our environment, and they know it. But Byron Donalds has been singing their tune ever since he got that money until this week. He's starting to listen to his pollsters, and he realizes this is not a popular position to take. My position, and I think James as well, has been very crystal clear. We're not going to allow these data centers in our state, full stop, period.
Jay, specific question, Ron DeSantis, Byron Donalds, how different will it be?
Incredibly different. The number one thing is courage and a moral compass. Guys, Ron DeSantis wasn't America's governor until he stepped into the breach and protected our people and our way of life when the whole world was folding down on top of us. They muzzled our kids, they took away individual freedoms, and they crushed small business, but one man stood. Do you believe that Byron Donalds will stand and take on the onslaught of everybody else across this world? Absolutely not. He does not have that fortitude nor that courage. Number two, it's performance. Look, I'm a retired Green Beret. I served in the Senate for 3 years. I'm the lieutenant governor of Florida. The best indicator of future performance is past performance. And the simple fact is this: Ron DeSantis shows up, works hard, gets things done. What has Byron ever done? What has he been successful at? What has he done that's made a difference? And let's talk about data centers. Guys, we all agree it's the hyperscalers that are the issue. These experimental hyperscalers that are taking 50 to 100,000 a city worth of power and water up to 50 to 100,000 people. That's an incredible number. That's a shocking revelation. But we have to protect our people. It's about power, it's about water, and it's about clarity and performance and protection. And the last thing is this. Look, Byron Donalds is a 2-time felon. Byron Donalds, frankly, does not believe in law and order. Byron Donalds wanted to change the age of a minor from 16 to 25. That would have made career criminals. He also wanted to raise the age, the line for felonious crime from 750 to 1,500. Guys, that's not the way we do this. But in the summer of love, when law enforcement were on their heels, what did Byron do? He eulogized George Floyd. It's still on his congressional website. Guys, that's not good enough. That's not the Florida way.
And Patrick, if I can jump in too, look, I talked about we need a governor
let me do
that's
this,
a
Paul.
battle
Hang tight
tested.
for me. Hang tight. I'll come to you. Let me ask this question for you guys because I have 3 other topics to get into. We have to get into AI data centers and a couple other games we're still going to play as well. Just a question for you. So if he is, let's say he's at 48 to 58%. Let's assume that's the number that we see.
I don't assume that's correct.
I'm going to assume. I'll take the assumption and I'll look bad myself. But I'm going to assume it's 48 to 58. Okay. If we look strictly on the Republican primary side for Florida, what if 2 of you dropped out to get the percentage to go up on the other individual to go up against Byron Donalds? Would you entertain that idea? And if not, this is the next part that I kind of want to go. We just went against Byron Donalds. Then we went on Byron Donalds compared to Ron DeSantis. But let's talk about the folks on the panel. I'm going to open up the next 10 minutes for you individually to ask each other any questions. It's open. You're officially the moderator. Each of you gets to ask the other person a question and address certain issues because the audience has to decide right now, hey, if you guys continue going like this, it's done. It's slam dunk for Byron Donalds. But we have to now decide which of you 3 can go up against him one-on-one. So I'll open it up. Who would like to go first?
Well, I'll answer. I think I'm answering your question. Is that Byron Donalds is the name you know for this reason. For the last 5 years in Congress, D.C. is a very dangerous place, but the most dangerous place in Washington, D.C. is between Byron Donalds and a TV camera. He has never missed an interview, but he's missed over 150 votes in his 5 years in Congress. Why would you give a guy a job promotion that doesn't show up for the job he has? And so we are all competing up here, and I would just point you to leadership background. Who's been tried? Who's had positions of trust, been that battle-tested leader? I don't know that Byron Donalds has ever run a lemonade stand. And so voters,
he sold drugs, though.
He has made some money, and you know what, James? He's also, and you know this, he's also making a lot of money in Congress. And it's very interesting to me. He left the Florida House, not a millionaire. He goes up to Washington, D.C. He's trading $11 million worth of stock trades, missing required disclosures, and yet he comes back. And he even reports that they're worth millions of dollars. He and his wife comes back, and in his state filing as to how much he's worth, guess. We just did the eggs. Guess how much Byron Donalds is worth? $89,000. He is dead broke as a congressman. And if you believe that, you should vote for him for governor, I guess.
Okay,
but he is
Paul,
running.
I want to stay on this. That point's been clear. Thank you for that. Let's stay on the topic. It's now.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that voters know that, Pat.
And I appreciate
respectfully, I don't know that they know that.
But we've gone 10 minutes into Byron's, and
I'm telling you that
they got plenty of it, which is great. Now let's talk about the 3 of you. Open mic. Address any question against your peers because the audience has to now see between the 3 of you. Some people don't follow politics as closely as others. Some people are not following all the stories. Some people are not up on the news. What questions do you have for each other, specifically to 3 of you? James, please take the lead.
Jay.
Hello, my name is Dr. Osmond. I own...
Oh, now they got to add over Fishback.
At least it's not.
To not spare a dime when it came to the...
No kidding. So
he's got to pay the bills. I get it.
I know we were talking there. We didn't get to answer them dropping out.
Well, I want to know what your opinion is on what they were talking about dropping out. Like, do you think that's the only way someone can beat Byron Donalds?
So the problem is both Fishback and Collins have reached out to me. Fishback called me 2 weeks ago, wanting me to team up. He said the Fishback-Williams ticket would be the greatest ticket.
Really?
We'll win.
Agreed.
And
just for the record, agreed.
And I said, okay.
The local people don't want anything to do with
You're absolutely
data centers.
right, and they should ban that at that local level,
We
at
can
the
do
city
it
or
at the
county.
state level, though.
Once government starts reaching in and clawing back, it never slows down. I'm at the state level. Nobody wants the state reaching in. Do you want the federal government in your life more?
What we want is we want a leader to stand up and ban data centers in Florida, and as governor, I'll be proud to do that.
So let me be clear here, James. What you're talking about isn't a governor. Are you going to be a king? Are you going to be the king of Florida?
Listen,
is that what you're going to do?
What is a dictatorship is a billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg running roughshod over Tallahassee saying, it doesn't matter what the people think. We are going to actually build a data center that's going to destroy our communities. Jay, can I ask you, yes or no question? Have there been long-term health studies done on data centers, yes or no?
Yes.
There have? There have? That's not true. Where's the study from?
I'll tell you what, James, I don't have it on me right now. Look at this. Do you see it here? Yes, there have been.
Data centers just came about 4 years ago. There's been no long-term health studies. I stand with RFK. We're not going to have EMF. We're not going to have audible noise pollution next to our elementary schools with Project Tamgo, and certainly not next to the community in Fort Meade. Hire me as governor. We will ban every data center in all 67 counties.
Well, James, let me ask you a question. How do you think the people in the cities and counties are going to feel about the state government coming in and taking control of that? They let me finish talking, man, please. Come on. Look, the reality is they want local leadership. Nope. They want to be empowered. Yes, they do, James. They do. They want to have say in their local life. Brother, you know this. You grew up in a small town, just like I did.
Where was it? Where did I grow up?
I think you grew up in a small town in Florida.
Where did I grow up, Jay? Where did I grow up? Here in Florida.
I think you called Madison home, right?
I grew up here in Florida, right? All right, case closed. Drop the lawsuit.
Oh, really? James, let me be clear on this, buddy. We're not going to discuss that, and the reality is...
Why not? Why don't we discuss the fact that a Montana man hired a California lawyer to sue Governor DeSantis' administration to remove a fourth-generation Floridian from your ballot? You're trying to steal the election with Byron Donalds.
Because the reality is, this isn't about large clicks. It's not about the games you play.
You literally just said I'm from Florida, and now you're suing me because I'm not from Florida. Will you drop the lawsuit, yes or no?
James?
You're trying to steal the election like the Democrats did to President Trump.
There you go again. James, you're killing me, man. The reality is this. That is a matter for the court. I actually respect the judicial system. We have to make sure that we do that the right way. James, I know you don't respect the judicial system. Your whole life has shown that. The simple facts are this.
Have I been arrested? I think you're confusing me with Byron Donalds. He's the one who's been arrested for two felonies.
Sure. The simple fact is this. That is a matter for the courts. We respect the judicial system, and that's how that works. But look, when the
court said that Roe v. Wade allowed the murder of children, did you respect that decision?
When it comes to the question at hand on the data centers,
Plessy v. Ferguson allowed the segregation of black children. Did you defend that decision?
You have to, James, stop playing games, man. There you go. You want to play games. You want to do the things. Dude, just stop, man. The data centers are an issue. Hyperscalers
What
are
are you going to do about it?
I'm trying to tell you. Do you want to let me talk, or are you just going to keep interrupting?
Hey, Patrick, can I jump in because I feel like if we
I'm going to give Jay 30 seconds to respond.
Can I jump in?
May I? Hang on 1 second, Jay. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond. Then I'm going to go to Paul. Paul, you get to address any question to anybody else. I'm going to come to you right afterwards. Jay, go for it. Finish your thoughts,
thanks, Patrick.
please.
Look, the simple fact is this. When it comes to data centers, you have to have guardrails. You have to lead. And the people in the state of Florida don't want the state of Florida jumping in over the top. They want to have local rule. You have to respect their ability to do the right thing and put that forward. But you have to have a backstop. You have to have the state willing to step in and make a difference. That's how government works. You don't want the federal government solving all your problems. Any government big enough to give you anything can take anything. That's the problem. That's the reality. And we all agree. When you listen to this, let me be clear on this, guys. All three of us are very wary of hyperscalers. You should be afraid. They're selling you snake oil, and it's a problem. But we have to make sure we have guardrails because nothing in life is static. It continues to evolve.
I want to thank Kamala Harris for the word salad.
Thank you.
That was pretty clear, James.
Well, look, first of all, I don't know how much the people listening or in the audience care about these personal disputes. If we were at a dining room table, you know where the kids' table is right now with all the back and forth, frankly. And so I do have a question for Jay because, Jay, you've said that it's not possible for the state to regulate hyperscale data centers at the state level. Why do you believe that is? And if you believe the state shouldn't be involved, why did you sponsor a bill to give them permanent tax incentives at the expense of everybody watching tonight?
Well, Paul, that's a great question. You're doing what often is the case. You're misrepresenting. The simple fact is this. I believe in local government's I believe in the local government's right to enforce and take care of business. And yeah, I did. But Paul, do you think that you've learned things? Did I run that bill? I did. But the simple fact is this, Paul.
I learned you ran the bill.
Paul, you going to let me finish? Or are you going to play the same games? Come on. Jeez Louise, man.
Jay, I've asked you a simple question. I'm not playing games. My question is, why do you think the state cannot regulate, as I will, and I think James will, on day one, as soon as my hand leaves the Bible with my wife when I'm sworn in as governor, we're going into a special session on affordability. We will stop these hyperscale data centers. And my question is, if you understand Florida well enough to be its governor, why do you think it's not legal or constitutional to pass restrictions on a hyperscale data center? We have data centers, but these massive data centers that drive up electric rates, that damage our aquifer, it is in the people's interest and in a Florida First agenda to pursue that. Why do you believe that's not possible?
Paul, I'm pretty sure you voted for these as well. And the simple fact is this, not all data centers are hyperscalers.
I've asked you a question you refuse to answer.
No.
Why do you think the state cannot regulate hyperscale data centers? It's a
I don't think it's the state's business. I think you should push that down to the local level and let the local government step in. You should have a moratorium. They should put a pause in things. And they should.
Yes or no? Can the state regulate hyperscale data centers? This is the answer. This is the answer. This is the answer.
Paul, let's just state the obvious. They're not serious about running against Byron Donalds. They're worried about me. And guys, here's the problem. Paul, no one's buying your game.
Jay.
You're like a walking white paper, man. Come on.
Jay, if I'm worried about you, why the hell are you suing me to remove me from the ballot?
So the last person that we need to get to is Jay. Jay, do you have any questions for either opponent?
Well, I think you should answer my question before he asks a question.
Well, I haven't had an opportunity because you want to have shenanigans and tomfoolery over here.
Answer the question. It's a simple question. If I give you a green paddle or red paddle, it's a yes or no. Can the state regulate? No. Hey, we don't need from the peanut gallery. What can you do at the state level to regulate data centers? And if you don't believe that's possible, state it. But you're.
It's not about banning them as you go in. It's about having guardrails.
You just heard it. He will not ban data centers.
No.
I will as governor. There will not be a data center in the state of Florida.
There you
go
again.
The only one playing games is you by letting Mark Zuckerberg and George Soros build data centers in our neighborhoods.
Guys, give me a break on this. Good Lord.
Why don't you give
that original lethality that we all wanted?
It's very simple.
I've seen the legal documents
Well,
today.
he does have a house there, and he says his sister is living in it.
Well, there's a document now today saying, I guess now.
Well, then it can't be homesteaded.
But
That's homestead
It wasn't
fraud.
until April this year, or June this year. Now they're wanting to repay all the back taxes.
Well.
But
one thing.
But once you get caught with something, it's like, I stole money.
What kind of keeps me up at night is the notion.
Penalties that would be appropriate.
Which, to me, it shows you're homesteaded.
Correct.
When does the 7 years kick in for Jay Collins, though?
He didn't have to have it till he qualified. So he was 7 years in January. So it's qualifications. It's the rules.
Yeah. Which is June.
Rules. Rules are rules.
And I believe in the rules.
I mean,
I do.
We make rules. Yeah. The Bible is
regardless of who it is.
That's right.
Truly.
Now, there's a lot of rules that are wrong, but rules are rules. And
well,
if
it's
he's
like
legal,
them changing the rules at the RPOF for who could be on the debate stage.
Yeah, and
them changing the rules for the
mainly
local,
the audience that's interested in Florida. And the question is how they feel about data centers. The audience voted, 85% of the audience voted that they oppose data centers.
Perfect.
Now, that's the audience. We don't know what that means. That's what the audience is saying.
And it's time we regulate them at the state level.
Let me
Hard
go
stop.
to Jay. James, respectfully, Jay, please, do you have any questions you'd like to ask your opponent?
Yeah, Paul, I hear you talk about this. I'm curious, what are you going to do that's different than James? How would you work with him if he were elected governor, what would you do? Tell me about your relationship and how that's going to work.
I don't even understand your question. I'm not working with.
Don't you?
I'm not even. I mean, I don't understand your. I'm not. You're talking about a hypothetical. I'm not interested in working with anybody. I'm running to be the next governor and put Florida first.
Paul, there's clear corroboration.
No, there's not.
Clear.
No, there's not. No, there's not. If there were clear collaboration, we wouldn't both be on the stage right now. I think that's obvious.
Paul. There you go, man. You're killing me, Smalls. You are. Look, what I want to know is, how are you going to work with other people? Let me make it a little bit more simple here. How are you going to work with other people on this stage if they're elected governor? What would you do to support them? How are you going to make a difference with them?
I don't have to work with. I don't know what you're talking about. You're asking
me
to
a
work
patriot?
with
Do you believe in
James.
our way?
Look, I hope that a Republican wins in November. Are you asking whether I'll break my back to campaign for Byron Donalds? Probably not. I'm not going to vote for a Democrat, but you said you'll break your back for him. So is that how you feel? Is that how you're going to work with him? So you're going to
vote for a Democrat, or you're just
no,
not
I'm not going to vote for a Democrat. I've never voted for a Democrat. Look, Jay, it's interesting to me that you're having this conversation with James about residency. As you know, you have to live here 7 years, but curiously, you've only made that requirement yourself as of January. You only moved into the state in 2019.
Just a quick show of hands on the stage and in the audience. Quick show of hands if you voted for Ron DeSantis in 2018. Jay, why didn't you vote for Ron DeSantis in 2018?
Well, sorry, I wasn't really listening to your question.
Did you vote for Ron DeSantis in 2018, yes or no?
In 2018?
Yes. That's a no. That's a no.
Yeah, so, the fact is, James, I had to sit and think through my career here, and I understand that you haven't done anything to go out there and actually put yourself forward or serve the people, and the best thing you've done is whatever you're doing with your life right now. But look, man, I served our nation. I did for 23 years. My wife did 20 years. Paul did over 20 years. You're the only one on the stage who actually hasn't done that. So you're going to say that because I was serving my nation, bleeding for our nation, breaking my butt off everywhere I went to do the right thing, that's a problem?
No,
James,
I asked you if you voted for Ron DeSantis in 2018.
That's not relevant, James, because the simple fact is this.
No, it absolutely is relevant.
Where was I?
Hey, and Patrick, if I can jump in, Jay did ask me a question of how I would work with a hypothetical governor in a hypothetical election, and you just said a minute ago, Byron's got this thing taken care of. But here's what I'll say. How will I work with the legislature is the same way I worked with the legislature when I was Speaker of the House. The governor said that the 2 years that I led the legislature in the Florida House were the most consequential 2 years of any legislature in America.
And yet he didn't choose you to be the lieutenant governor.
Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me, because we had a Senate president who was much more moderate than me, and I'd take a bullet for her. She's a great lady, but much more moderate, but because we criticized in private and praised in public. And what I see here, Jay, look, we all appreciate your service, but what I'm questioning in your temperament tonight is your judgment. And so you have to be able to work with everyone. And we worked in United Conservatives when I was Speaker of the House in ways that you can only pretend you have done in your 36 months in office. And so at the end of the day, you want somebody who truly is not just, and I respect your service immensely, but that's not alone a reason to make you governor. And I've outlined, look, I've been my own business owner. I've been my own business owner. I've been a prosecutor, but that's not a reason to be your next governor, because I've been the most successful Speaker of the House, which is really the number 2 position behind the governor, because you're controlling a budget, balancing the budget. I'm the only one on the stage that's balanced a budget. Byron Donalds certainly has not. And so you can come in here, but at the end of the day, you know that in 6 months you've not gotten the governor's endorsement. All that you're consigned to right now is being a ribbon cutter, because that's the only constitutional authority you have as lieutenant governor.
All right. So let me get to the next question. This was a good back and forth where you know the audience gets to decide for themselves as you went through this. Thank you for working on this with this one here. Let me get to the next topic in regard to hurricane preparedness. Under Governor DeSantis, Florida became a leader in hurricane response in When the Sanibel Causeway was destroyed in October of 2022, a temporary bridge opened in 15 days and full rebuilding took just over 2 years, setting a new benchmark for state emergency response. As governor, what investments or changes will you make to keep Florida the national model for disaster response? Paul, I'll come to you first.
Well, look, in the military, we train over and over again, and the best preparation for a crisis or an emergency is your time in the military. And so I've led that training, and you practice over and over again so that when the crisis comes, you act immediately without another thought. And that's what you have to do during hurricanes as well. I don't think, and you can go back in time, we've had a great series of governors that have done a great job. Ron DeSantis certainly stands at the top of that. And so it's several things. First of all, you have to make sure that you protect the rights and freedoms of every Floridian so that in a hurricane, you're not being told that you can't transport your weapons, for example, from one place to evacuate, these kinds of things. And Governor DeSantis did that very clearly during COVID, which was one of the worst civil liberties infringement as a crisis in American history. And I will never let that happen or anything like that happen on my watch, no matter what the crisis is. But with respect to hurricane response, I would give you 4 things. One is a risk assessment. You need to know the severity of the risk, the locality in the case of a hurricane. And then you need resources. You need resources for first responders, and I would be asking our local emergency operations centers what they need to respond to that crisis. And then secondly, our third is communication. A good leader communicates, and that's both to the people that are on the ground working the problem, but also to the public, to warn them of danger that is real, but also reassure them that things are under control. Again, you want somebody who's had a lifetime of being battle tested that can handle the worst thing that comes our way, and finally express that calm in a storm.
Thank you, Paul. James, 60 seconds.
Businesses, successful businesses.
Governor DeSantis said it best when he said that the only time the average Floridian even cares who's the governor is before and after a hurricane. My grandmother, who taught English here at Plantation High School in Broward County for 20 years, she always taught me that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We need to surge resources into communities before a storm hits. Use both the floor.
In Sarasota and Manatee, most kitchens and
On a call when he called me.
Oh,
he's like,
horrible time for
He's like, we need to team up. We need to do this. He wanted me to be lieutenant governor, and I said, well, if you pretty much didn't say it back, but I ain't changing me. So if you want to be lieutenant governor, he said the governor said this in a hurricane. Only time he said, you're the guy. You're the hurricane guy. That come out of his mouth. So thank you, James.
Wow. Is it possible to go back where the ad cut that off there?
I don't know. It's his broadcast. I doubt it.
There's a sound. Do we have the sound?
You know, we had over 50,000 power trucks lined up after Helene and Milton. It was pretty incredible to see that. You know, that consequential leadership, his ability to say, look, that bridge isn't going to take 4 months. It's going to take 3 days. And to get it done is incredible. But what we have to do, and Paul, I think you hit on something that was interesting, is a comms plan. You have to have a PACE plan, a primary, alternate, contingency, an emergency plan that's in place where people can scaffold that and make sure that in a multi-jurisdictional, multi-county situation, you can actually communicate and work through that. Number 2 is clarity of training. We have to make sure that more training is pushed down. Many of the cities and counties have part-time or short-staffed emergency management. We got to make sure they get more information quicker to help make that work for them. And the last piece is this, guys. We all talk about it. You have to get the supplies, the food, the things on the ground quicker. We're going to have to continue to build out what Governor Ron DeSantis has started and have an echeloned approach to where our things are around the state. That works. That plan has always worked, and we're going to continue to move forward on those things.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Next question was shared with us by Sarah Adams, former CIA targeter. She asked this question on Twitter. Hostile foreign governments are using universities to gain influence through research, money, and partnerships. What will you do to eliminate foreign influence from Florida's colleges and universities?
I'll take it because I've already called for no professors, no students from any country, foreign area of concern, such as China. We let China in several years ago in these Confucius Institutes, and this is just classic academia. They stole our research because our own professors are collaborating with them on things that belong with the Department of War, that belong to the CIA, and so no Chinese students, no Chinese professors. We need to completely remove, and Jay and I worked together on the bill to stop any purchase from the CCP of land in Florida, whether it's farmland or military land. I think that bill can probably go farther, but that was a good bill that we worked on together. And we need to make sure, because this is a real threat. China's not the only one, but they certainly are the major one. And so shutting them off from the spigot of research that's happening in our public universities is job one.
Actually, James, I'll come to you next.
It's very simple. Florida colleges are paid for by the Florida taxpayers. Why then are there thousands of foreign students taking up admission spots, taking up spots in a chemistry, history, or engineering class from one of the kids in our state? A kid from Hernando County, Collier County, Lee County, Osceola, Orange, Broward, Dade, or Palm Beach. Why? We must end foreign students who are practically spies in many of our universities. I will do that as governor by raising the tuition on any foreign student to $1 million a year. When they can't pay, they can't come. And when they can't come, our kids are back in our universities, training, being motivated and educated to write the next great chapter of history right here in Florida.
James. Jay?
So I want to come in here.
You know, when I joined the Army, the most exciting thing that was going on was fusion. Utilization and a better standardization of local, state, and federal assets. It's good government working together. You also have to bring in your university system for that. You have to make sure that operations, training, you have to make sure that communication, cyber, intelligence are all there. We have to have clear communication, better threat understanding, better connectedness within all of those assets. So our people at the leadership level understand that. And then you have to do exactly what Governor Ron DeSantis has done and hold those people accountable. But look, where do we go from there? The simple truth is this. We all see the risk of foreign influence. We all know what that looks like and what it means. Yes, Paul, you and I did that was a great bill, and we had to stand strong on banning China, but it was also the countries of concern. It wasn't just the CCP, it was other countries that couldn't buy real property. We have to call it what it is, and we have to protect our people, and we have to arm them with the facts. One of the things I would love to do as governor is sit down and have a conversation with the people of Florida. You know, in a world where Twitter is always moving, Facebook, Instagram, all of that, it's just spinning like your power meter, right? What can we do? You remember when the president would sit there and have a conversation with America? We have to address these things as governor. We have to sit down and have that conversation with the people of Florida, share the facts, share the details, and share that vision of where this is going to go. And then we have to hold them accountable when they don't follow the laws. That is the DeSantis way. Communication is the critical conduit of all of that.
Thank you. Well, you know, on the topic of education, you know, there's a lot of things that Florida gets right. One of the areas that we have to improve as a state is education. Federal data shows Florida public schools rank second in the nation for fourth grade math. But by 8th grade, we dropped to 41st. And when it comes down to SAT scores in America, we're at 48th place out of 50 states. The average SAT score in Florida is 948. What specific changes will you make to address education shortfalls in Florida? Paul, I'll come to you first again.
Well, I'll start by resetting the standards of what constitutes an A. Right now, it's far too low. It needs to be at 90%. I think it's at 60% or something. So we need to raise the bar. And with the new governor, I think it's the right time to do that, to continue to challenge our kids to greater excellence. And we need to make sure, as I did when I was speaker, to get the indoctrination out of our schools, teach reading, math, science, civics, make a high school diploma matter again by the time you walk across the stage. And the fact that we're seeing at least the positive signs, but seeing that drop off means to me that we're cluttering the educational experience with too many things that don't go to teaching the core basics of education. That's what a high school diploma ought to deliver, so that you can walk off the stage and get a meaningful job. I will be committed to that, again, running a Florida First agenda to make sure that we have vocational and technical training along with that math. And so we have to do all of those things. Another thing I would point to, Patrick, is the schools of education must be reformed. And by reformed, I mean, frankly, brought down demolished basically and rebuilt from the ground up, because we see very weak academics in the schools of education. We see a ton of indoctrination. So a teacher walks in really excited. She loves math. She wants to teach math. And they become basically weaponized for the left. We see this over and over again. So we have to have significant reform of the schools of education and focus more on the subject area, not spending 4 years how to teach, but 4 years about how to be a great math teacher.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. James.
Take your average high school student here in Florida and ask them 3 questions. Pull them out of class and ask them to point which way the Pacific Ocean is. Number 2, ask them to recite the First and Second Amendments of the U.S. Constitution. And number 3, have them walk into a Starbucks, get behind the counter, someone pays $50, have them make change. Genuinely, honestly, how many kids, even at the top high schools in our state, could answer all 3 of those questions? Maybe, Patrick, it has something to do with the fact that if Elon Musk came down and wanted to teach a high school physics course, he would be barred from doing so because the radical teachers unions will not let people from other fields come to teach. There is an entire group of Elon Musk's engineers, mathematicians, scientists, history buffs who want to come into our public schools and educate and motivate our kids, and they can't. But the other fact is that we've got to pay the best teachers more. Now, most teachers I know, they wake up early, they stay late, they dig into their own pockets for school supplies and lunch money. The teachers need a raise if they're doing what is expected of them. And you do that, Patrick, for the very simple reason.
Men can't stop sending me their stick pics. Gross.
What?
I don't mean that wrong. That's almost perfect for that character.
Oh, that sucks for Fishback.
Were we just talking?
His OnlyFans deal. There you go.
Yeah,
50% syntax.
You want not to go to the public school route, I will always defend your right that Governor DeSantis and the First Lady fought for. The Step Up program is going to the next level. I call it Step Up Squared. Here's how it works. Number 1, if you have a kid here in Broward or Dade County and they're spending $15,000 a year, the school district on your kid, and you pull them out, you're going to get the full $15,000. Number 2, we are going to empower our homeschool families and allow them to access the same exact extracurriculars, debate team, the rest of it, so they can participate in the same way. Let's not forget, Tim Tebow was a homeschool kid who competed on a public high school team, and I'm going to defend the next generation of homeschoolers to do the same.
Jay, please.
That's wrong.
Yeah, so let's look at what we have here. Number 1, we have to be aware of the cyber footprint of our kids. Have you ever sat back and looked at K through 12 and the cyber footprint we find our kids in? Guys, it's scary. I have an 11 and 14-year-old in the house. Everything they do is through a third-party app. Everything in their life is tracked online. Everything is there. Their frontal lobes aren't fully developed. Guys, they're at risk everywhere they go, and we have to make sure that we start decoupling from some of those apps and some of those processes. We got to protect their safety, protect their lives and their ID. Number 2, I think it's time to move towards classical education. I do. We have been slowly moving that direction under Governor Ron DeSantis. We know that classical education builds strong citizens. It gives strong fundamentals. We know that it provides them with functionality. But let's be clear. We don't just want kids to be competitive. We want Florida's kids to win. Winning matters. Losing sucks. I think we all agree with that, right? We want the best for our kids, and I don't want them to just be okay. I want them to be thought leaders, industry leaders. But there's also been an inherent bias through time that you had to have a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD to be successful in life. Guys, that's just simply not true. Whether you want to get a job, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to go to the trades or get a bachelor's degree, it doesn't matter. We have to demand excellence in all things. And that's why I think it's time to bring the trades and apprenticeship back to every single high school across the state of Florida. The simple fact
10 seconds.
Is that, look, you can't tell me a 20-year welder can't be given an instructor certification to go ahead and teach people how to do that. It's a self-licking ice cream cone of success, and it's the right thing to do for the future of Florida.
Thank you, Jay.
New word for me, self-licking ice cream cone.
Jay, I think you're absolutely right.
I'm writing
it's the kind
that down.
of regulation that conservatives
Nope.
need to pull back on.
Self-licking
But the 9
ice
most terrifying
cream
words in the
cone.
English language are, I'm
know
from
what
the
the bad
government
thing
and I'm
is?
here to help.
Our nation's
And Jay, you
looking
know
at
this,
that,
Paul,
these
you
are
know
really
this.
the
There
three
is too much
candidates we got
government
running for this.
regulation
All
that
we got.
prevents the kind of workers coming in to train. with
Are we really at
occupational
this point?
licenses that locks out an entire generation
But it's
of
not.
workers.
There are.
You
There,
are
James Shaw,
qualified.
he's a great guy.
You should be able to do
Rachel
the job. I'll give
Rodriguez,
you one
great.
example. Governor
I've
DeSantis
met
this week
Rachel.
said,
I really like
you should be able to
they
sit
don't
for
have
the
this
bar
opportunity.
exam.
And she has
Then
a
you got
great
me.
story.
Don't have this
having to
opportunity.
go
Yes.
to law school. And I agree. There
I
are
would choose
dozens
either
of
one of them two over
occupations
these
in
two
our
guys.
state where you shouldn't have to jump through all of these bureaucratic hoops, have to prove yourself. You prove yourself in the open market. That's what radical capitalists do, and I'm proud to be one.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's play this game. If we want to bring those paddles up to everybody, thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll go through 20 different issues, and on some of them, if there's you guys defer, we may go a little bit
Well, this
deeper.
is a big game. It seems like it's.
Well, let's all do it. We'll do
Got
this
'em?
or this.
Everybody has one. So green, thumbs up. Red, thumbs down. Can you show it to the audience so they can see? So thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. So I'll state an issue, and you tell me if it's thumbs up or thumbs down. Eliminate property tax. Easy. Require E-Verify for every employer. Legalize recreational marijuana. Expand school choice and vouchers.
Yes.
Raise public schools teachers' pay, which could lead to additional state spending.
Conditionally, but not just totally.
Okay? You were a little bit hesitant there, Jay. Are you still sticking to thumbs up?
I was listening to the whole question and making sure.
All right,
I'm good on thumbs up.
that's my English. Forgive my English. Ban cell phones during school day in K through 12. All right.
Yes.
Expand nuclear energy.
Yes.
Build more toll roads to reduce traffic congestion.
Roads, but not toll
Toll
roads.
roads? I don't know.
We got too many.
Okay,
toll
let's stay
roads.
on that.
Just regular.
Jay,
We got
you
enough
put
money.
thumbs up. You guys put thumbs down. James, why don't you go first? Why are you thumbs down?
I don't think we need to turn Florida into a concrete jungle. I don't think we need to keep building. I grew up going to the Everglades fishing with my dad and uncle, and I can tell you this state is perfect just the way that she is. What I want to do for Florida conservation is I want to tackle the FWC head on. You got corrupt commissioners there who are not fighting for conservation. I'll remove them using my Article 4, Section 7 powers. But on toll roads in particular, why is it that the Turnpike was built 50 years ago and we're still paying for a road that we were told we were only going to pay for it to be built? And here's the fact. If you're a Florida resident, you should not have to pay to drive on our roads. Patrick, here's my commitment to the voters of Florida. As governor, I will eliminate all tolls for Florida residents.
Paul, you also had thumbs down.
And I just want to tell you how we're going to pay for it.
5
because at a
seconds.
time when communists like Zohran Mamdani are trying to steal money, here's how you're going to pay for it.
All that state.
Make the poorest
Ma'am, respectfully, this is my show. You're interrupting. Next time I will ask you to leave. You've done this since standard time. One more time I will ask him to leave. Please respect the audience here. You're the only one that's doing it, and I'm being respectful to you. I'm very tolerant, but you've crossed the line.
For the people watching at home, that's Jay Collins' wife. The other two wives are well behaved.
No, it's not Jay Collins'
James, and don't talk about my wife.
It's not Jay Collins' wife.
Then all the professionals. Awful.
We pay for it
awful.
by charging
I
the
think he's
tourists
doing a really
more.
good job as a
140 million
moderator.
tourists
He's letting people
drive on our
talk, but
roads
he's
every single
retaining
year.
control.
Charge them $1 or $2 more so we don't have to pay to drive on our roads anymore.
Okay, thank you. Paul.
Well, this is very similar to what we did when I was speaker with Governor DeSantis, which is to give discounts to Florida residents.
Well,
And
they
to
got rid
James's
of
point,
the-
that is a way, much like my
what's it
property
called?
tax proposal, I am
No,
shifting the
there's
burden
a
of
word.
taxation away from those who make Florida home to those who vacation here and speculate here. And I think that is a good direction to go. The reason I got the red paddle is, like, I can't tell you we're never going to have a toll road, but that's not the first place I would go. And so I think it makes sense to give relief to our residents who, especially frequent commuters, who are spending hundreds of dollars a month to get to their job, and again, dealing with costs that are out of the world right now. So it give them a little bit of a break. We did that for a period of time to try to bring those costs down, then we can look at doing that again.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And Jay, you put thumbs up. Why'd you put thumbs up?
Yeah, so if you listen to what Paul said, he said that wouldn't be his go-to. You need to have a medium here because the fact is this. We have 23.5 million people. We have 800 to 1,200 people a day that have been moving here for ages. We've got to have a multifaceted approach that's realistic and moves people where they need to go. That's investing in things like AAM or eVTOL aircraft, which we as the state have done. We're going to be an industry leader in that. That's paving more roads, making sure that people get where they want to. But if you want to pay for a toll, you want to pay a toll to move a little bit quicker, I think you have to give that option. But the fact is this, and I think we all three agree on this. The way the tolls work, the way the debt is managed, that's a problem. But it's not just turning it off. You can't just turn that thing off. It's going to take time to eliminate the bonds. That is something we should all be united on to solve that problem and eventually end that. But right now with our system, I think you got to get people off the roads and get people moving faster. Have you been around Miami? We got stuck there for a while.
And you know what we did when I was speaker and with the governor? We paid down some of our state debt that Jay's alluding to ahead of schedule. And so Byron Donalds, if you're watching, you never did that in the federal government. I can promise you that.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. All right. So we have 12 more to go through. Again, if you want to grab your paddles, because we're going back to the game with the paddles. Here we go. Require high schoolers to take a financial literacy course before graduation.
What we're used to. We're not going to change. You know, it's what people are. You got to create roads and road systems, and you got to make them work.
We're missing.
Ain't nobody going to get on a train and ride a train. I see it.
I see a lot of green.
I have Amtrak right next to us. I grew up on one, and you might have 20 people off of Amtrak. You know what I'm saying? It's never. And now they're talking bright line.
An incentive for folks that are just starting out their families, because right now the birth rate is 1.58. So people are worried about having kids because it's expensive.
Okay, I've already done tax incentives in that respect.
So
okay?
you are. So your thumbs up.
I'm agreeing now. Yep.
So your thumbs up.
I am.
And your thumbs down.
No, actually, that's the same question.
Okay, beautiful. Okay,
so
sounds
subsidies are frightening. Once you start subsidies long term, we have a problem we're chasing.
So your thumbs up, don't do it, or thumbs up, do it?
I'm actually green on this. You have to incentivize your own families.
All right,
so that's good.
Fantastic. Just a quick question. Can we just do a quick thumbs up, thumbs down? Who would do paid maternity leave for working moms in Florida?
Go for it.
I didn't hear that.
Paid maternity
paid
leave.
Maternity leave
paid
for
maternity
working moms in
leave
Florida.
from the state government, from the taxpayers.
Small business.
Yeah, I know. No one thinks about that.
I'm just curious.
You
That's a
can't.
fair
Small
question.
business can't even
Build
build
on small business.
You might have one employee.
Here's what I'll say.
So that's the reason.
How does the business
What do
pay
you
for
do
that?
if you have one employee and that person
But I will
is...
say,
gone.
With that being said,
Now what do you do?
You can't mandate that. You know what I'm saying?
It needs
fair.
to make someone else pay for it, not the business.
So the problem with that here is, okay, so now, not only do I got to replace somebody, we'll just say, like you said, one employee or two employees.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 9 months of birth. So when do you know she gonna give birth? 8 months or 9 months? So now I need to bring somebody in early and train.
Yeah.
So now I'm double paying. Okay.
And be gone for 3 months.
Then where are you going to have somebody that wants to work just for 6 months?
of
Yeah.
government, of self-government, it is
know what I'm
critically
saying?
important.
Correct.
Because if
You
you
can't
No, that's a
mandate
very
that.
have
difficult
strong
thing
families,
for an
you
employer.
can't build enough strong government
It
to
sounds
manage the
great.
So Paul,
resulting
does that
chaos.
mean if
So
the
I
idea
love
makes
them. I
sense,
love
you would be open to
The
it?
concept broadly about
Social Security,
incentivizing
Medicaid.
family formation,
Then how do I get
absolutely,
paid?
I would be in favor of
Do I get paid as a
pursuing
business, or are you
multiple
paying the
different ways of
employee?
looking at that.
Then how long
Make
do I wait
sure
for
that
money?
the
We're living paycheck to
economics is not a
paycheck.
reason
Just
not to
make
have
sure
it.
set it up.
Thank you, Paul.
Make sure economics
free
is not a
market
reason.
radical or something. Yeah.
Go ahead.
But then if you start
What I would
introduce
say is,
these
as a
kind of things
Christian,
and make
I
That's
it
not a
business,
free
it's
market.
socialist. It's not really
I
a free
believe
market.
that to be pro-life, we
Putting
have to
out
totally
business.
end abortion in the state of Florida. And that's what I would run to do as governor. But I also believe,
Okay.
that it is really
You know what
messy
I did?
to tell a
I
mom
worked
who gives
extra hours.
birth
I worked
on
longer
Friday
days.
morning.
Yeah,
I had my mother
has
come
to
sit
be
with my
up
wife
one
and watch
day
that kind of
right
stuff.
early.
You know what I'm saying?
As governor, I
I
will
went back to work
institute
at 6
paid
weeks
maternity
before
leave
Monday.
for every working mom in our state.
And you didn't
Okay, let's go to the
you
next
didn't
one.
subsidies, did you?
Next one is
So that like it's something new.
increase
And I
funding
was
for
married to a farmer.
Everglades restoration.
That works all the time.
You know?
You save, you budget. You
Cap
prepare
annual
for that.
homeowner insurance rate
And something's
increases.
going to happen. It's something you got to prepare for. It's like buying a
Cap.
house.
Like government
You can't
caps?
just walk in
Yes.
here to think about a house without saving, down payment.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. They don't want to
capitalism,
put the
that's what
effort
that
in
means.
to
Require AI-generated ads to include a disclosure label.
Although sometimes
Okay. Expand birth futures program.
The what?
Expand.
The what? The
Bright
Futures?
Bright
Bright
Futures
Futures?
programs that we have
It's
here.
pretty expanded right
all
now.
that.
What is it right now? Is it 3.5
Well, there's
GPA
100%,
with
there's
1350
75%.
SAT?
Depends on what your scores
Right.
are, but we have a pretty robust Bright Futures.
So you would keep it the way it is?
I would
You
keep it
wouldn't
the way it
adjust
is.
Are you thumbs up, or would you
Keep it the way it is.
keep it the way it is?
I think
okay.
I'm a thumbs up on this. I think you have to keep it the way it is, but you have to expand this out to a couple
How
other
would you
areas.
expand it?
look, I want to see more movement in trades. I want to say that we have to put our money where our mouth is and stop making people feel like those in the trades are a second-class citizen. Guys, the average tradesman's 58 years old. The average farmer's 58.9. We got to fill those things. If you eat food or you go to the bathroom, guys, you should be very worried about how that works. I want to make sure there's more opportunity, more scholarships available for those kids. Excellence has to be what we aim for in all things, to include the trades, entrepreneurship, and yes, regular academic success. We need to do more.
I agree. We need to expand the Bright Futures program, but we have to take a bigger look at our colleges here in Florida. I want Florida colleges to look more like Hillsdale and less like Berkeley. We need kids studying science, technology, engineering, math, American history. We don't want kids to be trained to be activists on either side. We don't want CRT or DEI in our universities. And so I would want to expand the program, but I would be open to also reducing and eliminating certain majors so that taxpayer money isn't used for kids to learn about.
Let's go to the next one.
Things you don't need.
Look, I'm actually, this isn't something we're going to say very often. I agree with him on
cut all the nonsense out, cut the waste out, cut
here's
the
the thing.
out.
This is a miracle.
You got to take your
you look at it from a different
and align
angle.
it with your education system, with
Teachers
university.
are writing textbooks.
It's just
It's
like
another
they want
way
to
to
add
get
more money and
money.
add more programs, but we never fix the waste and fraud we have now. Let's fix the waste and fraud. And if we do that, you know what? Then there might be enough money in there for
opportunities to make a difference in their
we
lives.
got so
That
much
might
money.
not.
That's where I would agree with
that. They don't like it.
I agree with that.
Thinking about that whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
But you can't just throw. You can't say I'm going to be governor. We're going to add this. You know what I'm saying?
And Patrick, just for equal time on vocational training.
I agree with
I agree with
Paul, I'm going to move
But even
forward. I'm
in
going to
that
move forward
household.
because I need to go to the guest 3 questions,
Okay.
please. I've given you plenty of time.
Sure.
Some would even say I've given you more time than the other 2. Let me continue. Require government spending to be searchable online.
100%.
Absolutely.
And I would do it via the blockchain.
Everybody agree.
Accountability.
Expand vocational training at public schools.
100%.
Okay, easy. Offer tax credits to businesses that hire veterans.
Veterans first.
You're thinking.
Yeah. We should not have veterans
How
under
are you
the
thinking?
bridge.
You want to take
What
a
tax
second?
credit would be a?
I mean, you're in
corporate
this
income tax
business.
credit?
This is what you do. Would you create an incentive?
You're asking to
Correct.
expand what we already
We
have.
do all this stuff
Whatever
for
we have
veterans.
right now.
We have a ton of benefits
And
for
they're
veterans. They're
homeless,
well
and
deserved.
we have homeless vets.
So I
So
think
your
we
your
ha- I
thumbs
think we
down.
have
You're
some
happy
measures.
with what's out there right
I'm happy
now.
with what we're doing. I think we have the most veteran-friendly state in America. We're going to keep it that way.
So you would say to change and upgrade what we have will be a thumbs down to you.
I don't know that there's a place for an upgrade. I mean, I think we need to encourage our veterans and work, but I don't know that we need an upgrade.
All right.
So let's say this, Patrick. The idle mind is the devil's playground. And what I fear is that so many of our brave veterans who come back from war, that they are reliving that PTSD by staring at the ceiling. They don't have an access to a job or an opportunity. And so what I would fight for is for every single vet to not just have a job in the private sector, but if you can't get a job there, let's open up internships.
This is a very strange thing. 2 vets said no, 1 non-vet said yes. So let me ask Jay Collins. Jay, what would you say?
So look, I don't think that's the approach, but what I do think is we have to step up and do more. Look, the VA simply is too bloated, too bureaucratic, and there's too many problems. We have to make sure that we hold them accountable. I would love to press the federal government to shift how the VA works, number 1. Number 2, we have to go find, there are 700,000 veterans who have no connection to the VA in the state of Florida. We're going to have to do what I call Operation Reveille. We're going to work with nonprofits, churches, local organizations and leaders to bring them in and make sure they get the benefits. But the third thing here is very simple. We've got to make sure that when they transition, we as a state don't leave them behind. We have to work with nonprofits, public-private partnerships to make that work and make sure they have that transition into a real life.
Can I comment on where I would spend money?
Yeah.
So when I did spend money, so at University of South Florida, we're spending right now $28 million for a study into hyperbaric oxygen treatment to cure traumatic brain injury. Because we know, and Jay knows very well, we have a lot of veterans that have traumatic brain injury. It's difficult for them to get out and take a job. And so getting them right-sized is very, very important. This idea that we're going to let the VA give drugs to our veterans for the rest of their life is reprehensible. We need to look for alternative treatments that actually cure the brain. I believe this hyperbaric oxygen treatment study will bear fruit. It will be very exciting for all of our veterans as well as anybody else that has
Thank you. Let me get to the next one. So require able-bodied adults receiving public benefits to meet work or training requirements. Fantastic. Fully ban Chinese nationals from buying land in Florida. Okay. And last but not least here, prioritize farmland over residential development. Okay, thank you for that. Paul, I'm going to come to you for this next question, and we're going to go to the audience for 2 questions, and then we'll wrap it up. We are almost at the end. So one of the topics that a lot of people in the comment section are asking about is flock cameras. I don't know if you're familiar with the flock camera, so we'll talk about that. Florida police now uses thousands of flock safety cameras. By the way, one of them is literally 100 yards away from this building, which are part of a 100,000 camera national network, originally used to read license plates. The system now...
I'm so hungry.
They solve a lot of crimes and do it.
Would you like them or no?
I think you put them at a couple principal points, and that's it. Like entering exit the counties, main things, and that's it. But it's for license plate.
Here in the state of Florida and protect civil liberties. And here's what I'll tell you. As an intelligence officer in Afghanistan, you see things that we can't talk about, but you see our capacity to go after bad guys. And you think that's great that we can take care of the bad guys. But the problem is, what happens if that same technology is turned against us? And so we always have to be vigilant. You know, we fought a revolution for a reason, to not have an overarching, surveilling government over our backs and in our homes and on the streets. And so it's one thing if you have a camera that can be deployed to capture a missing child that has been kidnapped in the moment, in the hours, in the minutes right after it's happened, to stop a death, right? It's quite another thing to let that data go and be held for a week, a month, a year, be taken into AI and crunched. And so truly you have a surveillance state akin to the Chinese government that is possible. I'm not saying it's happening today or that our police officers aren't doing the right thing today, but the point is, how far do we want to go in the name of security before we lose our freedom? And as once a person, I think Benjamin Franklin famously said, if we give up our security or give up our freedom for security, we will get neither and deserve neither.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Okay, 60 seconds, Jake.
All right, look. Number one, this whole discussion is why AI has to be a state-level issue. It shouldn't be in control of the federal government. We have to empower our governors in our local states to do that. Number two, look, the reality of flock cameras is we do pull criminals, we do pull murderers off that. But, Paul, what you're talking about is those third-party. You cannot afford to have the third-party information, the third-party organizations grab that information and hold that there. We have to secure that in-house. We have to make sure that's locked inside our organizations and controlled. But Paul, what you said in the final line on this is that an AI surveillance state is a horrifying, frightening thing. I believe in our men and women of law enforcement. I have talked to all of our sheriffs, our local police, and I will tell you they are unified that flock does make a difference. It does save lives and it keeps our people safe. And they are owed the time, tools, and training necessary to complete their mission and get back to their families. But they're also held accountable if that thing goes wrong or if it's misused. But we have to make sure we keep that data here in our state.
Thank you, Jay. James?
As governor, you will always get a yes or no answer out of me. If elected the 47th governor, I would ban all flock and Palantir systems in Florida. There are thousands of cameras pointed at schoolyards, outside of churches. Can you imagine what the Democrats would have done with the flock security footage during COVID? They would have known exactly where you were. They would have tracked you day by day, and Anthony Fauci and Joe Biden would have been banging on your door with a search warrant because you took your kids to the park when they said it wasn't okay. I'm the only candidate on the stage who can say that I've never taken money from Palantir, never taken money from the large AI companies. And what I'll tell you is I signed that pledge because Palantir may do good work in the Middle East, may do good work in Afghanistan or Iraq, but the same weapons of war that are deployed on foreign battlefields should never, ever be aimed at American citizens on U.S. soil. We will block flock and ban Palantir and revive our civil liberties like our founding fathers would have wanted.
Thank you.
But Patrick, I do just want to touch up on something that Mr. Collins said. Jay, you started your answer with, quote, "This is why AI should be a state-level issue." 30 minutes ago, you said that AI data centers should not be banned from the state. So can we get a yes or no as governor? Would you sign into law a full ban of experimental data centers?
James, again, you're playing games. Listen, now let me finish. Look, man, it is very clear what the problem is here. You want to have a perfect world that operates how it is. And if all men were angels, we wouldn't need government. The simple fact is this: it doesn't operate that way. Not all AI is bad. You use it, everyone uses it. It's the reality. Our kids use it. Data centers are also something that's been around. Do you like communicating with people? It's the hyperscalers that are the issue. And what I'm talking about is federal control over something that's very complex. That should not be the case. It should be managed at the state level. But what I'm telling you is the local governments have to be empowered to make decisions. They don't want the state ruling that. Just like we're saying the Fed shouldn't step in, the state shouldn't ban those outright. That's not what Governor DeSantis has done. What he said is put guardrails in place. That is his model. That is successful right now because it continues to grow with the footprint.
Paul, I'll
as
give you 30
AI develops.
seconds, then I'm going to go to questions and final thoughts from you guys.
20
go
seconds,
for it.
okay?
Go for it.
Here's the problem with what was just said, is that at the local level, the whole community in Fort Meade comes out and says, please don't do this to us. And the county commission unanimously votes for it because all they can see is the same dollar signs, the same special interests that are funding Byron Donald's campaign. We need leaders who will put the citizens of Florida first and not big tech.
Thank you,
This
Paul.
is a state level
All
issue.
Let's go to the audience. We have 2 questions. Do we have in front of Mike? Because I can't see it. Oh, we do. Please state your name and your question. I'm going to turn on the mic, Jake. Let's try it one more time. You want to test this mic out? Maybe it's this one that you have on. Let's check this one out. Go for it. We can hear you. The mic went out, Jake. I know you can hear it. I want the audience to also hear it. Do you want to try it one more time, Jake?
Or try to hold it closer to your mouth. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, much better there. Go for it.
No, I don't think that the average person is.
No.
Remove restrictions for young entrepreneurs in the state of Florida. 30 seconds each.
Yep.
Go for it.
Sure, I'll go first. We have regulations. Look, regulators, what do? They regulate. And so if you leave them to their own devices, they will continue to regulate and regulate. We have regulations that are on the books probably from the 60s and 70s, so we need to do a better job. You hear about zero-based budgeting. I like to see zero-based regulation and tear it down to its bare minimum and only have regulations that go to health and safety. Businesses need reliable rules. They need to just know what the rules are. And as long as they know that, and as long as they're low, which they typically are in Florida, but not always, then you can prosper. But I hear all the time when it comes to other states that they do it better in other states where there's not the kind of simplicity that we need to give to businesses, because all of that effort, all of that time, all the bodies you have to put on that regulation costs money. That money then gets passed along to your consumers or reduces your profits. And for all those reasons, we have to have, whether it's a 1 in, 2 out, or how about a 0 in, 3 out of regulatory effort. When we look at the Tax and Budget Commission, Byron has kind of sloughed off the whole property tax debate and said, I'll send it to the commission. This would be something for them to talk about, but quite frankly, we know where we need to go, and we can look at this in partnership with the
5 more seconds,
NFIB
Paul.
to make sure we're getting rid of every regulation that doesn't truly protect a life or has a true safety component.
Thank you.
Not just to regulate to regulate.
Jay, 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, look, I think you're going to hear a lot of the same thing from everybody here. Deregulation is critical. I think we have to go through all of our statute over a 4-year span and understand the second, third, and fourth order effects of all of it. Clarify everything that we have to. Number 2, we got to make sure that we have Live Florida, which is a model that helps our business owners understand where everything's at. It's very hard sometimes to get critical data. That has to be an extension of commerce. And the third piece is this. I want to have radical transparency for everything that the government does. I want to have a dashboard-based system. I want to make sure that we are an ROI-driven enterprise. If things are going to be put out in the government, it has to be clear. It has to be given there and easy to access. And that's why Live Florida is such a critical thing. It empowers people to make choices.
Thank you, James.
Is this something that's personally affected you?
Myself and my brothers just recently relocated from Wisconsin to Florida.
You bring some cheese curds with you?
That's right. So
Well,
we felt Wisconsin, and we'd like to have a governor in the state of Florida that is champion entrepreneurs.
Well, as a young Florida entrepreneur myself who started a business at 21, let me tell you right now that we need to do whatever it takes to inspire the next generation of businesses here, and it will be enough. Here's how you do it. Number one, we need someone who's going to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, who's going to work for you. I'm going to appoint a small business commissioner, the first time it's ever been done in Florida history. And their job is to answer your calls, emails, meet with entrepreneurs from Miami to Jacksonville, Jacksonville to Pensacola, and understand what you guys need. We're going to roll out the red carpet. If you want to come here and you want to hire and you want to build things and you want to write the next great chapter of American history in Florida, you are going to have a friend in me.
Beautiful. Thank you, James. All right. So we are coming to the end. Each candidate, 90 seconds, final thoughts before we wrap it up. Paul, I'll start off with you, please.
Closing?
Closing statements,
You
yes.
got it. You got it. Well, listen, I've spent my entire life as a battle-tested leader. And when I led the legislature, conservatives won every battle. But ultimately, this race is not about any candidate. It's about every Floridian, which is why we've been leaning into a Florida-first agenda from day one. And what that means is we're going to stand up for every man, woman, and child that calls Florida home, that really calls Florida home. And in some ways, Florida has become a victim of our own success. With all the people moving in, we've seen the price of things skyrocket. I recently met with a woman by the name of Peggy, and she and her husband were public school teachers on fixed income, and they were contemplating after 30 years making Florida their home of leaving our state because they cannot afford the taxes, the insurance, the electric rates. And the situation for young people is very similar. I met with Megan in Miami, and she had just bought her first home, something I want to see happen when I'm governor. But she was paying 2 to 3 times what the other residents in her area were paying in property taxes because of the way of our property tax is structured. And so we need good leaders who listen. And I've been doing that to build out a Florida first agenda with our contract with Florida. I suggest you take a look at it at voterenner.com. And what we're going to do is make sure we eliminate property taxes for those who need it most, cut insurance rates by 20%, and lower electric rates. We will ban at the state level hyperscale data centers, period, full stop. We will stop public corruption and inhuman trafficking. We will make sure that we are a gold standard for election integrity. And
guys, don't leave after the debate is over. We have post-debate analysis coming straight after. We're going to get our thoughts, everyone's thoughts, especially Bobby Williams. So stay
definitely
tuned.
Want to hear.
Don't leave.
What is this?
Bobbleheads. There we go. We need to create a bobblehead for all these 3 guys.
All right, Jay Collins.
Is that 2?
Jay Collins.
What is that?
Every single day to be a citizen of these United States of America and living here in the great state of Florida. Friends, we can never allow the American dream to be diminished or broken down. We can't allow the next generation to have less than we do today. We have to fight for the future of this great state and this great nation. Like many veterans, I would do everything and anything to serve our state and nation again, even if it came down to the cost of that last full measure of devotion. We love that nation that much. But friends, this election is the time for choosing. We can choose to go the easy method and allow Byron Donalds to pick who's going to be the next governor and just say that it's over. Or we can do as Florida has always done and stand strong and vote for people that inspire us, that make a difference in our community and want to earn their vote. Friends, this state matters. Have you looked around the world? There is no place like America. There's no place like Florida. If we are not leading and we are not the conservative proving grounds of America, who is going to step up? Not now, not ever, will we ever let the American dream diminish. And in Florida, under my watch, friends, we'll leave it better than we got it. We'll make sure that our children have every opportunity to live their life, live their dreams, and imagine things that we can't even comprehend right now. But more than anything else, my hope and prayer is that as you move forward, you know that in the free state of Florida, we will honor your individual liberties, your rights, your freedoms, as we know that you make a choice and you have a voice.
Make some noise. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. James Fishback, 90 seconds. Closing thoughts, please.
Thank you, Patrick, for hosting us. Thank you, Jay and Paul. I know we saw some fireworks tonight. It's because all three men on this stage love this state and love our country. I want to speak directly to the voters who are watching from home. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's important debate. This election is not about the who. This election is about the what. What vision for Florida do you want? I'm going to stand up and ban data centers. I'm going to fight for our citrus growers and our cattle ranchers. I'm going to stand up for your First Amendment right and your Second Amendment right, because I'm a principled conservative. Nowadays, people say they're principled conservatives, but ask them, where do they draw their principles from? Me, I draw them from two places, the U.S. Constitution and the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I believe what we need right now is a revival in this state. I visited all 67 counties, and even though I'm the highest polling person on this stage, if I haven't heard from you, I want to hear from you tonight. My personal email is james@fishback2026.com. Send me an email, and I guarantee you're going to hear back from me. We need someone. As the sun sets on Governor DeSantis' incredible 8 years, we need someone to stare down the new challenges on the horizon. And I'm asking you for the honor of a lifetime to do that for you, your family, and the state that we love.
Thank you, James. Make some noise. Let me do the following, folks. If you're watching this entire thing was for you, especially the Florida audience that's watching this. Whoever you'd like to support, we have intentionally put their links to their website below. Go show your vote by supporting these individuals. Remember, we want Byron Donalds on this stage. I think there's like 50-something days left. In order for that to happen, they need your support. Go show your support to whichever candidate this was. And the discussion is still continuing on X, #VTDebate. Would love to hear from you. The audience, you were amazing. You ended up doing very good at the last 15 minutes. Thank you for that. For all of you, we have a guest that came from every single one of the different camps. We have a book called Future Looks Bright with the Florida sign on the side. That's a gift for everybody for showing up. God bless everybody.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
To the full screen here. Welcome to the post-debate analysis show. We're here on Coastal Conservative News. If you haven't subscribed or followed us, make sure you do that right now. We're joined with a panel here. We're going to go down the line and give our closing thoughts. And also, we have a ton to unpack here. Yeah. But first, I want to just go down the line and give a takeaway from what you learned tonight. Starting over here, we'll make our way down to Bobby Williams. Starting with Wes Renaud, USF College Republicans president.
Yeah, thank you for having me, by the way. I don't know if I got to say that before.
Of course.
But like I said prior, I think it would have been 100 times better had we had every single candidate up on that stage tonight. And I hope within now and August 18th we get to see that. But I thought Fishback definitely leveled the other two. Like, I stand on that. I do think that we have to get away from establishment. I've told you this before. Anybody at all that is outside of that establishment, I want to hear you out. I want to know your plan and want to see you in office.
All right. So I'll go now. My biggest takeaway, like you were saying during the debate, everyone's going to appeal to the audience. They're going to try to make their points to get some brownie points, honestly, to get some people to sway their direction. But my biggest question from watching that was how. I've heard a lot of what's, but not a lot of how's. Mm-hmm. How are they going to get these things done? How are they going to lower costs, make Florida more affordable, make it remain old Florida, not new Florida? How are they going to do that? And so that's my biggest question. I hope to hear from every candidate on that. But I'm glad we have Bobby Williams in here today to give his opinion on what he thought as well. We'll next down the line to Conni Brunni from the president of Sarasota MAGA Patriots.
Yes, and I know a lot of people, obviously I'm a MAGA person. I consider myself more MAGA than Republican, and that might lend people to think that we would be supporting Byron Donalds. Our group has not taken a position. We're not going to take a position. But as an individual, I came here wanting to hear Jay Collins. I really was leaning toward him. That has changed. That's probably the biggest takeaway from tonight. I got to sit next to Bobby Williams. I got to hear his story. I got to ask him questions face to face, look him in the eyeballs. And that means a lot to me. So I also would like to take another look at Paul Renner and some of the information. I'd like to look at his contract with Florida and the Florida First Agenda. Those things matter to me. But I was concerned about Renner understanding home rule. That's a big issue for me, is home rule. So,
yeah.
But I got to meet Bobby, so
yeah,
I think I changed my vote.
It brings me into our special guest of the evening. We've had candidate Bobby Williams here for the entire coverage so far. Thank you for joining us in person.
Yes.
It does mean a lot. We wanted to give you a voice, a platform.
I appreciate that.
Since you weren't at the debate. So give us your takeaway of the debate, and also how are you feeling now?
Well, it's standards. So the problem for the last, obviously since we've been born, the standard of a politician is a politician. So what they did was gave you polished answers. Tended to the crowd, rolled with the crowd, done all that stuff. And that's what the standard is. And so the difference between me, I feel, and these is the reason why I'm running. For too long, we voted against the least of two evils. So we go up there and we can pick each one of these guys out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what is their fruit? Where is their heart at? Are they truly going to serve the people? Have they served the people? Most all these guys have served some form of politics, and we're in the same issue we're in today.
Yep.
And my biggest front of all of them, so Fishback hasn't served. So when he says, if DeSantis runs, and he did this in a meeting to me in Madison, and I didn't agree with it, but I didn't have opportunity, and I didn't want to defend it. He says, and Bobby would agree with me, if DeSantis was running a third term, I wouldn't run. That's Fishback said it. He said, Bobby would agree. I don't agree with that.
So you wouldn't?
No. I give DeSantis a C. So they all talked about all the issues and all the problems. They all talked about it. Every question was every issue, every problem in Florida that's happened on DeSantis' watch.
Yes.
We should have fixed it. Renner's talking about he was in it a while back. We're still in the same issues, same problems. You're looking at affordability, you're looking at your insurance, you're looking at your electric bills, you're looking at unaffordable, all that. The governor appoints boards. We talked about it earlier. Says yes or no. None of them talked about that. They don't talk about let's fix problems, let's fix solutions now.
Yeah. One of the issues that got brought up was property taxes, and I wanted to give you a chance to respond on your view on property taxes.
So the problem is corruption, waste, and fraud. So if you have a 12-year-old who has access to mommy and daddy's credit card, when does he ever quit spending? Never will. We see it today. Blaise Ngolia come out 2 weeks ago. He was in Kissimmee. I was there. Jacksonville spent $175 million. He went back this couple weeks. They spent $300 million. They doubled down. They said, you're not going to threaten us. We'll show you. Property taxes keep increasing, but what have we gained back from it? Our roads are still horrible. Everything's increasing. Our water is increasing. Utilities increasing. Everything's increasing. So, there's a big issue and big problem in all that. So I'm against property tax because we got to make these counties and cities tighten their belts. And they will not tighten their belts till you do it. And my plan is this. So when you take a card away from a 12-year-old, what does he usually do? He's going to throw a fit, right? Yeah. So now you got county commissioners throwing a fit. Well, you're not going to have law enforcement. You're not going to have the education system. You're not going to have that. Well, number one, we'll start with education. Our education system is horrible. We already had that conversation, K through 12.
Yep.
So, if that's what you're going to threaten me with, then we'll just take school choice and we'll just make it school choice and be done with, and we'll throw that money to charters and let the people pick the best school they can find. We can figure that out. But even at that, what people don't understand is the county commissioners and city commissioners have zero say in a sheriff or an education system. And that's their two biggest expenses.
That's true.
Probably 50 to 70%.
Yeah.
Some of these counties, it's 80%. So if we took that away from the counties, that takes the burden off us, takes the burden off the county. We give that to the state. Our own governor said this 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said, we got so much money coming in the state. We got a rainy day fund, a slush fund, and they want to create another fund. Then we can go through his budget and look at all the waste and fraud.
Yep.
So you would reduce property taxes but not fully eliminate
No,
them?
not fully eliminate.
You would fully eliminate them.
Yeah.
So education and law enforcement too.
No, you don't. That gets transferred from the county to the state.
Okay.
The state has so much money. Make the state pay for it.
I see.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you're saying you replace that with money from the state,
Right.
To
yeah.
replace those funds.
So we're taking your no more property tax. That money gets shipped to the state because right now the county commissioners, city commissioners have zero say in the sheriff or the county anyhow or the education system.
Yeah.
And the problem with government and anything is called diversion, smoke and mirrors.
Sorry.
I use this as a perfect example. A county has a city road, a state road, city road, state road, and a county road. They're always blaming each other, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's their road, this road. They get the money for it, we don't get the money for it. Well, if we can solidify down to one person, simplify it, that way we know who to send the emails to, that we know who to blame. You know, they're like, well, I don't want to hand that off to the state. Well, the state's already taken everything. We talked about home rule and all this.
Yes.
They already pulled everything away. You know, we got to get back to we the people.
Yeah.
And we got to have power with the people. We need money in the people's pockets.
Yeah.
You talk about affordability, that's a great way to do it.
So Fishback was you know, we had some different opinions on Fishback. Obviously, you have a Fishback jacket on. I want to get into him a little bit.
What can I say?
We were recently at the RPOF Sunshine Showdown, and a lot of people were calling him racist and these kind of words.
Yeah, no,
on stage.
I had somebody in my face.
Fishback?
So even
I won't say from which camp because I couldn't tell if it was Donald's or somebody else who was up on
we had a
the
chance to interview
chase.
Randy Fine at that event.
Yeah, he says he's disgusting.
We're going to play that clip.
Oh, perfect.
Let's watch it.
Thank you. This is exactly what I'm going to talk about.
I'm going to take this off because I need to cough.
This is Randy Fine at the Republican Party of Florida. And here we are at the RPF convention. I got to ask you about some drama that's been going on with. And here we are at the RPF convention. I got to ask you about some drama that's been going on with James Fishback. He was uninvited to this convention. Yeah. What are your thoughts about that whole situation and him in general running for governor?
Look, the guy's a loser. He's a con artist. Never should have gotten invited in the first place. Shouldn't even be on the ballot. He's not qualified to be governor. So if you want to talk about all that lunatic stuff, go be a Democrat. They'd love to have you.
Well, I have to ask some people may be concerned, maybe his supporters, maybe other people, about the, you know, having every Republican have a voice, especially at a conference like this with the other governor candidates. What are your opinions or thoughts about that?
Frankly, the primary's over. I mean, Byron Donalds is so far up in front. These people are just sort of nuisance candidates. We ought to get behind the guy who's going to win. If there was a legitimate election, if people had a chance, it'd be one thing. But it's Byron and a bunch of guys polling in the single digits. We should move on. We should focus on the general election. Just because you pay a few $1,000s does not mean you get the right to go stand on that stage.
Yeah, and then you had that whole situation with the Byron Donalds debate. They were originally supposed to have a debate at this event.
If you can't get out of...
So I want to start with Fishback, and then we'll get your opinion on what I said at the end. But first, what is your opinion as a Fishback supporter?
Everybody up here agrees this guy is incredibly arrogant.
But he's not the only one. We heard Rick Scott say that he was
these are all
implied that he was racist.
Club.
Yeah. So what is your opinion?
I've been telling everybody that's been asking me about my experience at the Sunshine Showdown as it was literally 7 to 8 hours minus Bobby Williams that wanted to talk about just garbage and allegations. Like, they say that he sounds like a Democrat. Well, I can tell you what Democrats do. They use terms like racism, bigot, anti-Semitic, whatever these terms that, like, you get these people back into a corner. Oh, I'm not racist. Oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not bigot. All of that is garbage to me. Like, hear the guy out. If you think he's going to make so much of a clown of himself, then let him do it. Right. Let a fool be a fool if that's what you claim he is.
Yeah, and then you see Democrats doing that with all these words. We don't want to become the same way, saying like everyone's racist and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hypocritical.
That was outrageous.
Yeah.
I sat with my mouth hanging open. I can't believe that someone who's an elected official would say those things. To suggest that people, because you don't agree with them, are nuisance candidates.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, we don't do that. And at the end, he said the primary is over. He said Byron Donalds has already won, and we should be gathering around him.
Total elitist.
Your thoughts?
Elitist.
Man, the arrogance of everybody. I'll just use this as an example, then I'll jump back to that. So I was at a venue the other day as a forum. There was actually two Democrats, 2 Republicans, and 1 independent sitting at the table. The young kid next to me was probably 23, 24. He literally had jogging pants on, a T-shirt, and with like a blue jean jacket kind of over his shoulders, not dressed. I didn't make fun of him. I shook his hand. I was nice to him, polite to him. Do I think he's a governor candidate? No. Do I think he has a shot? No. But it didn't matter to me. Let him have an opportunity. Let him speak. Yeah. He's going to hang himself. I say that about Fishback all the time. He'll hang himself. And I believe he's done that.
That's a perfectly fine stance to have.
He hangs himself. But I did. The RPF, I seen arrogance. I watched.
All day long.
I watched guys walk in a room, shun me, didn't talk to me. Just like treated me like, but I'm good with that. Doesn't matter to me.
But you had plenty of attendees walking up to you, including me. Like I said this before. Whenever I came up and shook your hand, I was like, I've been waiting to see you. I haven't seen you on Instagram, haven't seen you on X. I see plenty of your people on Facebook.
Yeah.
But you were a breath of fresh air in that room. I mean that. And I'm wearing a Fishback thing, and I can openly say that. In the matter of us talking, I don't know how many people came up and they're like, you knocked it out of the park. You were amazing up there.
Yeah. And that's for me. It's if I ever get the attention to speak to people, I spoke to her. I mean, she said she said the exact same words you just did. Breath of fresh air. Everywhere I go, we get that, and that's the reason why it's not fair for me not to have that stage tonight.
Yeah.
Because people look at me and go, "Man, you're a breath of fresh air. You're what we need." Yep. And that's coming from a Fishback guy.
Yeah, it is. Because that's why I gravitate towards Fishback. And I'd be hypocritical to say that you didn't deserve a place up there today because of my stance on the RPOF holding Fishback out.
Right.
I believe that we should be giving a platform to every major candidate.
For a whole Republican Party to basically declare the primary over before it even starts is ridiculous.
Well, so my whole stance, even them guys on stage, I mean, just real, they're hypocrites. They beat Byron up because they won't debate, but none of them asked me to come. And I asked Fishback, and I even asked Renner, and Fishback said they said no, but I don't believe that. But we'll figure that one out.
Yeah, I gotta ask who is they.
But so the thing is with Byron Donalds, he beat Kamala Harris up for what they did. You know, the Democratic Party did with her. They appointed her without anything.
Yeah.
And y'all are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yep, he's the Kamala Harris of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And
So don't be a hypocrite.
is telling you all to sit down and shut up.
I don't care how good.
I say no.
I don't care if it's the best party in the world. We, the people, decide who is our candidate.
When does it get back?
We're part of the Republican Party. We should vote for the primary candidate.
And if you don't, burn it down and rebuild it.
So my thing
very
is
elitist, very Hunger Games elitist.
Well, that's my mess. When do we get back to we the people instead
Yes.
of we the lobbyists and we the big corporations?
Yeah.
They're buying. When do we get back to voting people in instead of buying people in?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what's happening. You see it. We've seen it. I mean, my team's here. They've seen it. We've seen it. We laughed at the RPOF stage. Everything was about Byron. He even had his own
whole day
after
was
meeting
funneled
meeting.
into him.
He had a Q&A live on stage. No one else got that.
This is. I've been meaning to talk about this for so long. I thought it was absolutely disturbing to open up his time on stage with Charlie Kirk from comments from a year and a half ago. When Charlie Kirk stood on commentary, debate, conversation, prove me wrong.
And
you refuse to get on the stage, but you're going to use comments from a deceased guy who was a patriot and
regardless of if Charlie Kirk said he would support Byron Donalds, he would not support him not debating.
Absolutely, that's my point.
And he wouldn't support you not being in the debate either. He wants everyone.
Everybody equal opportunity.
This is what he did.
Charlie would
this is
probably
literally what he
dig
did. Put his
it,
mic down and
honestly.
listen to people, and to not have one of the candidates there for people to listen to. It's a disgrace to the Republican Party.
And y'all can look. I mean, you're a Fishback guy. I mean, you're a social media. I mean, you got a media channel this, and you're ahead of a party.
Oh no.
Or you're part of a party, but still. Y'all would say, and everybody says, I should have an opportunity there.
Yes. And I think most people would agree, except the people that run the big things, and that's ridiculous.
Because they want to control everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about
And
control.
that's exactly what we saw.
And
they used that video to, all I heard was, oh, Charlie, we love him. And then it's the same thing with using this Trump endorsement. And I do not want somebody winning off of endorsements. I want you on that stage.
I don't know if y'all
showing
seen
voters why they need to.
So I was standing there because I wanted to see the show. So I walked in there and it was a show. It was all mechanical, all done.
Yep.
You know, they just told me I had 30 minutes to speak, so I just got there and flowed, talked 30 minutes. Well, his was all a show. You could tell it was all, even from people walking in, staff walking in. But literally when he walked out on stage, people walked out. And he says, I'm fixing to, was Byron's comment. And their comment was, "We're fixing to leave," and they walked out because they don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
But we see that. But the thing is, same way these three guys tonight, don't be hypocrites.
Yes.
Don't bash Byron, then you do the same thing to me.
Yes.
Because really, what they're scared of is what y'all just said. Bobby's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And they don't want equal competition. They just want to stage with Byron, so it makes them look good because they know they can beat Byron, but they can't beat everybody else. Make it fair. Make it everybody should.
It does look like they're scared if they're not willing to have you there, and they'll claim that it's because of the polling. What's your response to the polling numbers? Do you think that it's
number
not accurate?
one, a poll. Everybody will tell you polls are fake. They're bought.
Yeah.
So they even said that before about Byron Donalds.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's people buying their own polls. But Evan Powers come to me personally and said this. He says, I won't say who it was, a certain candidate, which was a government candidate at the RPOF, Sunshine Showdown, was mad because you got invited. And Evan's comment to him was, he's polling right with you. From our polls, internal Republican polls, the Republican Party, he is polling right with you guys. So I should have every right to be on that stage.
That's right.
Agreed.
And that's come from Evan Powers.
Yeah.
Who didn't even...
That says a lot because of he didn't even have a debate there.
Well, and to be honest with you, I know everybody hates Evan Powers.
Yep.
Evan Powers is the person that let me go to that RPOF. I asked him, he come to me, I met him twice. The second time I met him, he says, man, he says, the first time I met him was this. It's funny. So I walk in a meeting probably back in March in the Panhandle, and I don't know who, I feel like I'm a nobody. I mean, it's reality. I mean, in the political realm that, and I walk up to Evan Powers, shake his hand, I go, hey, Evan Powers, Bobby Williams. He's like, I know who you are. He said, Byron Donalds just talking about you. You're getting everywhere. This is back in March.
Wow, that's a big statement. Then.
So then, Paul Renner, and Evan Powers were guest speakers, the main speakers at Perry Taylor County Lincoln Dinner. After the thing, Evan come up to me and he says, man, you're getting around everywhere. People are just loving you. And I said, does that mean I get an invitation to Sunshine Showdown? He said, send me an email and we'll take care of it.
Wow.
Nope.
So, no, I did. I got an invitation there, so I got to go and speak.
Got
and they gave me 30 minutes.
Worst time slots of the entire deal, but you got there. You got in the door. It's better than my guy did.
Well, well, I learned to keep my mouth shut. Sometimes you got to.
Yeah, I mean, how were you at 31?
Why is the serpent? Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, and I answered that question.
Yeah, no, we talked about that.
That's the reason why I don't think he's ready for governor at 31 years old.
You need a little more life experience because you're making really
at
huge,
16.
I don't know. I think young people
decisions.
can do a lot. If you look at the history of this country, it
Well,
was young people who led the way from the founding fathers up to the Declaration.
But my argument with that, and I think she'll argue with that, a 20-year-old back in their generation was a lot more mature than a 20-year-old this generation.
On average.
The average. There are rare people. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of it, I say that. When I was 16, I knew everything. When I was 20, I knew everything. When I was 30 and 31, I knew everything. Thought I did.
Yeah.
Now that I'm 49, I know I don't know much. I got a lot more growing to go.
Thomas
and
Jefferson
that's
was
maturity.
33 at the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Your guys started working at 5, having babies at 14, started families.
Totally,
you know what I'm saying?
totally different
You're
animals.
farming. You're
totally
a whole
different
time.
The average life expectancy was about 48 years old.
So
that's true.
You got to look at
very different.
But I wouldn't look down on someone just because of their age. I would say there's a lot you can do, even if
Yes.
you are young.
No,
but I can tell you, as somebody who was an elected official at the age of 28, decisions I made when I looked back after my 5 years of service with life experience, I would probably do things differently.
Sometimes you can't wait because of the conditions that you're in.
No,
You have to step up
I never
and lead
expected
right
to
then.
run that early, but I did. And
You may have been needed then. You might have had to.
And I learned a lot that has helped my family and helped my community. So I'm not sorry that I served, but
it's back to
I
fruit.
can say that, yes, bear fruit.
Your fruit. At 31, the fruit of a 31-year-old can be different than another. That's the reason why you'll know them by their fruit is so important. Every kid matures differently. I remember my daughter was 10. You know, I taught her, we started the ministry about when she was 8 or 9. I taught her how to do it. I had a 50-year-old lady get mad, pack up and leave because my 10-year-old daughter was telling her what to do because she knew what to do. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I do this. She got mad and left. Maturity. But there's a difference in maturity, how you're raised, how you do it. But that's the reason, what is the fruit? You know what I'm saying?
So how would you define, like, if you had an outline of what good fruits look like, what would be going
They're
down
in the
list?
Bible.
Well, no, I'm saying, like,
really easy.
Like, be fruitful, multiply is like where we start at, but like in terms of character, integrity,
100%. I mean, if I go ask your friends about you, what are they going to say? Family members about you.
Yeah.
What are you doing in your community? You know, where are you serving? I mean, the greatest acts of anything is serving. You know, where are you serving? What are you doing? So when I look at fruit, so when I go cut an orange open, is it ripe? Is it rotten? Is it almost mature? Where is it? And you look at decisions being made. So when I think of fruit as results, what are decisions being made and what are the results of them decisions in your life, and do it.
Yeah.
So
all right, so let's get into who won this debate tonight, in your opinion.
Well, He's
am I justified to answer that? Come on.
I want to know.
I'll divert that
from
over
a
to that
Fishback
side.
supporter, do you think he won the debate?
I heard his comments afterwards. I know he does. Thinks he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but it's, yeah.
But why? But let me ask, why do you think? Not because here's the reason why I think you think it, and I may be wrong. Correct me. The polished answers, how he stood, how he interacted himself. I think that's the reason why you like him.
Well, I mean, just from an optics standpoint, when you see, I mean, I thought Renner did great too.
Yeah.
But whenever I see what we talked about, I mean, when you see a guy like making comments towards you, and he's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's, how do I know any of that is genuine? How do I know if that comes from a piece of paper or your heart?
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
And I felt like Fishback knocked that aspect out of the park. But, I mean, he had to field some very tough questions. And, I mean, I thought that he wasn't as hostile as I thought it was going to turn into, honestly. I thought if anybody was hostile, it was the guy in the middle. Yeah. And, yeah, no, I would go Fishback, Renner, down here under the table, Collins.
I think that Paul Renner won this debate because the
That's
other
fair.
two were arguing back and forth. It looked immature. And then,
It did.
Upon that, past that, I think Bobby Williams won the debate.
That was my answer.
They all looked
you
like they
took
were.
my answer.
It looked a little bit like a clown show, and I think that your maturity actually showed by not being a part of the clown show.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to, Bobby? Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think Bobby won because he wasn't there, but I liked Renner.
Yeah.
Of the three that were there,
If
I
you
would
look,
say Renner.
if you look at the three, Renner, and the reason why my problem with Fishback is fruit.
Yeah, I know.
Because you can act that. He's a debater. I mean, that's what y'all love about him. Y'all want him to debate because he's a debater. So you're an actor. You know how to act. You know how to try to do all this. You know how to direct people. To me, it's decisions made in the fiery moments.
Yes.
The actions, reactions. You've seen the frustration, aggravation, Hillman, Collins, back and forth. They were fighting themselves to even control themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They were letting other people get to you and get other things. So, and the three, Renner won to me.
Look at
at the end of the day, Bobby Williams, but yeah, Renner, that three.
Well,
but
yeah.
You earned my vote.
Well, thank you.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to our post-debate analysis. I want to give you a chance to talk to the voters before we go.
Yeah.
Someone who's undecided, who watched the debate tonight and still undecided.
Right.
What's your message to that person?
Well, the biggest thing they didn't talk about, the biggest issue with our government, the biggest issue with politics is godly character. We got to get God back in government and God back in schools. Until we do that, it's not going to fix anything. The backdoor deals are still going to happen. All the issues are going to happen. It starts there. It starts our foundation is what you got to have and you got to do. We answered a lot of their questions as we talked. I'm just for the people. And it's back. I've been serving the people for 10 years. If you don't know much about me, I run a ministry called the Freedom Tour. During COVID, I didn't mask. I didn't shut down. I didn't social distance. Instead, I made a decision to go help people out of my own pocket, my own funds, my own time, creating volunteers, creating groups. Then hurricanes hit. Every hurricane we showed up, we did probably more than most people did in the state. The issue with the state, they talked about today was, I'll just use Fishback's comment. Nobody knows who a governor is, and DeSantis said this, until a hurricane shows up.
That's right.
And I got witnesses here next to me that Fishback said, you're the guy for the job.
Well, as a Fishback guy, I stand by that.
Yeah. So,
it is. You did amazing work.
So the problem with Florida and governments is red tape. So they'll bring all the resources, pound all the resources into one area, but they don't know how to logistically distribute it. They don't know how to network and work with churches. I want to bring faith-based programs, not just your normal Red Cross. I see the issue with Red Cross and Salvation Army. The people I know, that's the reason why the best job for the governor is me. I know who has a heart for Florida. I've watched it during COVID. I've watched it during hurricanes for the last 10 years. I know the ministries of people who really serve Florida, want to help Florida, that we need to get the resources to that can do the job. And that's the biggest issue because every one of them guys, I guarantee you during COVID, they were social distance matched somewhere, avoiding.
Yeah. I mean,
So to me, so when you believe in the Constitution, it says, no, they said, I know Fishback said it, I support Amendment 1, Amendment 2, First Amendment, Second Amendment. Well, the First Amendment says you have right to assemble.
Yes. And that's to protect our church gatherings.
That's right. But if he was, where was he at? He wasn't going to church, wasn't doing none of that. These guys that said they're going to protect it were not protecting it.
Well, I mean, so to offer you a little
You need to
perspective.
support all of the Constitution.
Yeah,
That's it.
agreed.
Let's hear your.
So I was,
And you got to be willing to go to jail for it, or whatever it takes.
During COVID, and that was under a very, very, very Democratic government ran by J.B. Pritzker. And I remember us being locked down. We had mask mandates everywhere you went, and I came down to Florida because my father lives here, and this is where I was born. Divorced parents, but anyway, I came to see how awful the tyrannical aspect of COVID was, and then DeSantis, that was his saving grace for me. That's why I did coin him at the time as you're the best governor in this country because you're letting people go out and live their lives. I don't have to put a mask over my face because what sense does it make to put people inside out of fresh air, breathe in the same air, and then push a quote warp speed vaccine that everybody has to take, or you can't go to school, you can't go to work. And Illinois did a lot of that. And knowing what you did during COVID, when we bring up the breath of fresh air,
right,
you're the epitome of that with the COVID. Though.
Well, that's my thing is people look at COVID, but Governor Sanders did shut us down. They did force masks.
Yes.
They did do all that, but I didn't. I just said, I'm not bowing to that. You're not forcing me to do something. I have a constitutional right, and I have a blood of Jesus right. You know what I'm saying, to do this. So it's people look at like these guys. I think I told you earlier. He said Fishback said if Sanders were running a third term, I wasn't. We've had 21 years of red. I'm a conservative Republican.
Yeah.
We're an unaffordability state. Every one of them guys talked about they were part of it. When I was here, I was there.
True.
And we have electrical crisis,
so you're
insurance
co-signing
crisis.
on the last 20 years of the issue. That with a lot of these guys, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're not talking. They're talking politics.
It's
tonight,
sort of this, both sides of the mouth.
Yeah, tonight they talk politics. They didn't talk about real solutions. Fixing the education system, really, what K through 12, which is horrible for our students. They didn't talk about really, the issue of electric bills and insurance bills. In a sense of the governor appoints boards who says yes or nay to these. You see them being removed?
They never say no.
All right, they never say no. Then they didn't talk about, you're talking about insurance and stuff. We ain't talking about lawyers. Lawyers are, so there's three issues here with your insurance bill they want to talk about. Number one's lawyers. All the wording they put in the legislation and all that benefit them. Then all the waste, fraud, and corruption they get. The money they're making, billionaires off this, fraud, or just suing people.
Yeah.
Number two, the governor's cabinet. Then number three, they talk about more insurance companies, right? So what happens, people don't understand. Do you understand what they did with the oil companies when they monopolize, they come down to one oil company and they want to monopolize all the oil companies? It's your monopoly, you got to do it.
Right.
You know what they did? Same guy created 5 oil companies.
Yeah.
So what they don't talk about, and they're not in depth about and looking at, that's what these insurance companies are doing. They're creating, these same insurance companies are owned by the other insurance companies.
It's just the same.
It's the same nonsense, the same waste, fraud, and abuse, corruption they're going to talk about. That's it. The issue of the problem is these lobbyists and big corporations raping, killing, and stealing our taxpayers' money, and none of these candidates have talked about that. Not one of them brought it up. That's the issue and the problem. Well, one of them did, and one of them will continue to do it. The issue with the problem is it's no longer we the people.
Yeah.
It's we the lobbyists and we the big corporations.
Yep.
And until you get a godly man with godly character, that will not change.
Wow, that's great.
And I believe that APEC is trying to put together a debate that would include all the candidates, at least the top 5.
How many of you want to see CCN do a debate with all 5 candidates?
Yeah.
Come on, support us. If you don't follow us yet, follow us now. Help us grow so we can do a debate with all of you because I think the people deserve it.
It's
going to be in Bradenton.
And we're going to have you there for sure if we do anything. So
you better.
You can count on that. So
Yes.
thank you guys all for coming. Connie,
you.
Wes, and Bobby Williams.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate all of you. And you guys watching, thanks for tuning in for this debate and coverage. Make sure you follow us